Naruto's willpower is legendary, but what if his imagination became his ultimate weapon? Imagine the knucklehead ninja wielding Gremmy Thoumoux's reality-warping visionary power. I've explored this broken scenario, where mere thoughts equal instant destruction, changing the war arc forever. Let's see if the shinobi world survives this chaos.
The apartment was freezing. 5-year-old Naruto Uzumaki sat cross-legged on the bare wooden floor, his breath forming small clouds in the October air. Outside, the village celebrated, laughter and fireworks echoing through Konoha's streets on the anniversary of the Kyuubi's defeat. Inside, the boy hugged his knees and tried to remember the last time he'd eaten. His stomach cramped. His fingers were numb. The landlord had forgotten to fix his heater again, just like shopkeepers forgot to sell him food, just like everyone forgot he existed except to glare with those hateful eyes. It's my birthday, Naruto thought, tears sliding down his whiskered cheeks. I'm 5 now. Doesn't anyone care? He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to escape into his mind the way he always did. He imagined warmth, a crackling fireplace, thick blankets, steaming bowls of ramen. He imagined someone strong standing guard at his door, keeping the hate away. He imagined safety. When he opened his eyes, the world had changed. A massive stone golem, 15 feet tall with glowing eyes, stood motionless beside his door. Its body was intricately carved, each muscle defined in gray rock that shouldn't exist. On the floor in front of Naruto sat 3 steaming bowls of miso ramen, the scent of pork and broth filling the apartment with impossible warmth. The temperature had risen to comfortable levels despite no fire, no heater, no source. Naruto blinked. He looked at his small hands, then at the ramen, then at the golem. I imagined it, he whispered, and it's real. He reached for the chopsticks with trembling fingers and took a bite. The noodles were perfect, exactly how he dreamed them. Rich, savory, warm, real. The door exploded inward. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, burst into the room with 3 Anbu operatives flanking him. They'd sensed the sudden spike of something. Not chakra exactly, but reality itself bending. The old man's eyes went wide behind his pipe as he took in the scene. A golem that radiated no chakra signature. Food that hadn't existed moments ago. And the boy, the Ninetales container, sitting calmly in the center of it all, slurping noodles like conjuring the impossible, was the most natural thing in the world. Naruto, Hiruzen said slowly, his voice carefully controlled. What did you do? The boy looked up with those impossibly blue eyes, eyes that now seemed to see through the fabric of reality itself. He swallowed his mouthful of noodles. I was hungry and cold and lonely, Naruto said in a small, distant voice. So I imagined I wasn't anymore. And then I wasn't. One of the Anbu took a step back. The golem's head turned to track the movement. Stone grinding against stone, Hiruzen felt ice spread through his veins. In his decades as Hokage, he'd seen countless bloodline limits, forbidden techniques, and tailed beast powers. But this, reality warping through pure imagination, this was something else entirely. Something that made the Ninetales look predictable by comparison. A beast could be sealed. A technique could be countered, but how do you fight someone who can dream you defeated? Stand down, Hiruzen ordered his Anbu. They hesitated, then obeyed. He approached Naruto slowly, kneeling beside the boy. Naruto, I need you to listen very carefully. This power you have, can you make the golem go away? Naruto tilted his head, considering. I imagine it's gone. The golem dissolved into mist, leaving no trace it had ever existed. The third Hokage's hands shook as he lit his pipe. That night, he didn't sleep. By morning, he'd classified Naruto Uzumaki as a level S security concern, not as a threat to eliminate, but as a reality warper who could reshape existence itself if he imagined it hard enough. The village that had feared the boy for the beast inside him now had something far more terrifying to fear. A child who could make nightmares real. Years passed. The fear never diminished. Naruto grew into a strange, detached boy who spoke in soft, dreamy tones and seemed to exist slightly outside normal reality. He attended the academy not because he needed to learn jutsu. What good were hand signs to someone who could rewrite physics itself? But because Hiruzen insisted he have some connection to normal children. It didn't work. The classroom fell silent when 12-year-old Naruto Uzumaki walked through the door. Conversations died mid-sentence. Students shifted in their seats, suddenly fascinated by their notebooks. Nobody met his eyes. Iruka Umino stood at the front, chalk in hand, trying to maintain his usual enthusiasm. All right, class, today we're practicing the clone jutsu. Naruto, would you like to? I'll pass, Naruto said, sliding into his seat by the window. He gazed out at the clouds drifting past, a small smile on his lips. I don't need hand signs. A nervous laugh rippled through the room. Everyone remembered what happened last month when Mizuki-sensei had insisted Naruto demonstrate a basic technique. The boy had sighed, said, I imagine 3 of me, and reality had split. Not shadow clones, actual biological duplicates with independent thought, each one real and solid and alive. They'd walked around the classroom, holding conversations with themselves before Naruto imagined them gone again. Mizuki had requested a transfer the next day. Right, Iruka said, swallowing hard. Everyone else, begin practice. Sasuke Uchiha, last loyal son of the slaughtered Uchiha clan, formed the hand signs with practiced precision. A perfect clone appeared beside him, standard academy-level technique. He glanced at Naruto from the corner of his eye, jaw tight. How am I supposed to restore my clan's honor when that exists? Sasuke thought, frustration burning in his chest. I train every day, master every jutsu, push myself to the limit, and he just sits there imagining things into existence. Sakura Haruno, brilliant and top of the class in written exams, couldn't stop her hands from trembling as she formed the clone seal. She'd made the mistake once of asking Naruto for help with a problem. He'd smiled that distant smile and said, I imagine you understand it perfectly. Suddenly, the complex equation had made complete sense in her mind, but the knowledge felt inserted, foreign, like he'd rewritten her brain. She hadn't spoken to him since. The bell rang. Students filed out quickly, giving Naruto a wide berth. Naruto, Iruka called as the boy stood to leave. The Hokage wants to see you. I know, Naruto said softly. I imagined he would. Iruka's blood ran cold. Did he just predict the future, or did he make it happen? The Hokage's office overlooked the village, autumn leaves falling past the windows. Hiruzen sat behind his desk, older and warier than he'd been 7 years ago. The weight of protecting Konoha from external threats was nothing compared to the weight of protecting it from the boy who could unmake it with a thought. Naruto entered without knocking. He never did. Doors tended to open for him, whether they were locked or not. You wanted to see me, old man? Naruto asked, settling into the chair across from Hiruzen. His voice carried that perpetual dreamy quality, like he was half awake and half lost in his imagination. The graduation exam is tomorrow, Hiruzen said, studying the boy's face. You'll pass, obviously. I'm assigning you to Team 7 under Kakashi Hatake. The copy ninja, Naruto mused. The man who's seen 1,000 jutsu. I wonder what he'll think when he sees someone who doesn't need any. Kakashi is uniquely qualified to train you, Hiruzen said carefully. He understands what it means to have power that sets you apart. You mean he understands what it means to be lonely, Naruto said, his blue eyes finally focusing fully on the Hokage. For a moment, the dreamy distance vanished, and Hiruzen saw the aching isolation beneath. It's okay, old man. I know what I am. I know what I could do. I know why people are afraid. Naruto. I imagine a world where people aren't scared of me, Naruto interrupted softly. But that's the one thing I can't seem to make real. Isn't that funny? I can change the color of the sky, make mountains bow, turn water into wine, but I can't imagine away fear. He stood, that distant smile returning. I'll meet my team tomorrow. Maybe they'll be different. He walked to the window and, without hesitation, stepped through it. Hiruzen lurched to his feet, but Naruto was already falling. No, floating. Gravity had simply decided it didn't apply to him anymore. The third Hokage watched the boy drift away like a leaf on the wind, and wondered, not for the first time, if he'd made a terrible mistake letting this power grow unchecked. But what choice did he have? You can't cage someone who can imagine the cage doesn't exist. You can't kill someone who can imagine they're immortal. You can only pray they remain on your side. Graduation came and went. Naruto didn't bother with the clone jutsu test. He simply looked at Iruka and said, I imagine I passed. The instructor's hand moved on its own, writing Naruto's name on the graduate list. Iruka stared at his own handwriting, wondering if he'd just been puppeted or if reality had rewritten itself to make Naruto's statement true. Team assignments were announced. Naruto found himself grouped with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, just as Hiruzen had promised. Sasuke's jaw clenched when he heard the news. Great. Now I'm stuck with the reality warper and the fangirl. Sakura looked like she might faint. They gathered at the academy the next morning, waiting for their Jonin instructor. Other teams had already left with their teachers, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji with Asuma, Kiba, Hinata, and Shino with Kurenai. Team 7 sat in tense silence. Well, Sasuke and Sakura sat tensely. Naruto lounged by the window, eyes half closed, humming a tune that seemed to make the air shimmer around him. Do you have to do that? Sasuke snapped. Do what? Naruto asked, genuinely curious. Make everything feel wrong, like reality is bending around you. Oh, that. Naruto's smile was apologetic. Sorry, sometimes I imagine things without meaning to. My mind wanders. What were you imagining just now? Sakura asked, then immediately regretted speaking when those blue eyes focused on her. I was imagining what our teacher will be like, Naruto said. Whether he'll be afraid like everyone else, or if he'll actually try to understand. He paused. I was also imagining the clouds outside shaped like animals. Look. They looked. Every cloud in the sky had reformed into perfect animal shapes. A dragon, a tiger, a fox with 9 tails. Sakura suppressed a whimper. Sasuke's Sharingan activated on instinct, trying to detect the chakra manipulation, but there was nothing to see. The clouds had simply become what Naruto imagined them to be. 3 hours later, their instructor finally arrived. Kakashi Hatake appeared in a swirl of leaves, his visible eye curved in what might have been a smile beneath his mask. Yo, my first impression of you is, well, I'll save that for later. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. He vanished. Show off, Sasuke muttered, standing. Naruto didn't move. I imagine we're already on the roof. The world rippled. Suddenly, they were standing on the rooftop. The classroom they'd been in moments ago, now visible through the roof access door behind them. They hadn't walked. They hadn't climbed. Reality had simply edited itself, so they were where Naruto imagined them to be. Kakashi, who'd been mid-leap to the roof himself, nearly fell in surprise when 3 Jinin materialized out of nowhere. Or we could just walk like normal people, Naruto added as an afterthought. The Jonin landed gracefully, eye widening slightly as he reassessed his new students. He'd known about Naruto's abilities in theory. Every Jonin in the village had been briefed on the reality warper, but seeing it firsthand was different. Right, Kakashi said, recovering his composure. Let's start with introductions. Tell me your name, likes, dislikes, dreams for the future. I'll go first. My name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes and dislikes are none of your business, and I have no intention of telling you my dreams. He gestured to Sakura. You first, Pinky. Sakura jumped. My name is Sakura Haruno. She glanced at Sasuke, blushing. I mean, my dream is to, another glance, and I dislike Naruto. The words burst out before she could stop them. Immediate horror washed over her face. Naruto's expression didn't change. That's okay, he said softly. Most people do. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. The boy's tone was perfectly calm, accepting, which somehow made it worse. How lonely does someone have to be to accept hate as normal? Next, Kakashi said. Duck butt hair. Sasuke glowered. Sasuke Uchiha. I like training. I dislike many things. My ambition is to restore my clan and kill a certain someone. Textbook Avenger, Kakashi thought. And finally, Blondie. Naruto Uzumaki, the boy said, gazing at the sky where his animal-shaped cloud still drifted. I like imagining things. I dislike being alone, but I'm used to it. My dream... He paused, and for a moment, something raw flickered across his face. My dream is to find someone who will look at me without fear, just once. The rooftop fell silent. Kakashi felt something twist in his chest. He'd lost everyone he loved to war and duty. This kid had never had anyone to begin with. All right, the Jonin said, his tone gentler. Tomorrow we have a survival exercise. Meet at Training Ground 3 at 5 a.m. Don't eat breakfast, you'll just throw up. What kind of exercise? Sasuke demanded. Kakashi's visible eye curved into a smile that didn't reach his eye, the kind with a 66% failure rate. Get some rest. You'll need it. He vanished in another swirl of leaves. Sasuke left immediately, too proud to show concern. Sakura hurried after him, leaving Naruto alone on the roof as the sun set over Konoha. I imagine tomorrow will be interesting, Naruto murmured to himself. Far below, in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen looked up from his crystal ball. He'd been watching the team introduction with growing concern. Kakashi was good, one of the best. But would good be enough to handle a student who could rewrite reality itself? I've put too much faith in Kakashi before, Hiruzen thought, memories of darker times surfacing. Let's hope this gamble pays off better than the last. Dawn broke over Training Ground 3. Sasuke arrived first, as expected, having barely slept. Sakura came next, yawning but determined. Naruto simply appeared, reality adjusting so he'd always been leaning against the center post. How long have you been standing there? Sakura asked, startled. Does it matter? Naruto replied. Time is relative. That's not how time works, Sasuke said. Naruto smiled. It is, if I imagine it that way. Before Sasuke could respond, Kakashi appeared in his usual dramatic fashion. The Jonin was holding 2 bells attached to his belt. Good morning. Today's exercise is simple. Take these bells from me before noon. Those who fail skip lunch and get tied to those posts. He gestured at 3 wooden stumps. Oh, and there are only 2 bells. One of you will definitely fail and be sent back to the academy. There are 3 of us and 2 bells, Sakura said slowly. So this is designed to make us fight each other? Sharp, Kakashi acknowledged. Come at me with the intent to kill or you'll never take them. Sasuke's hands moved to his kunai pouch. Sakura took a defensive stance. Naruto just looked at Kakashi with those unsettling blue eyes. You want me to come at you with killing intent? That's what I said, Kakashi confirmed, wondering if he'd made a mistake. Okay, Naruto said softly. I imagine you're already trapped. The world shifted. Kakashi's feet sank into the ground, except it wasn't ground anymore. The solid earth had become quicksand, thick and grasping, pulling him down to his knees. He tried to jump free, but the air around him had changed consistency, becoming thick and heavy like water. Every movement required immense effort. What? Kakashi gasped. The 2 bells detached from his belt on their own, floating through the heavy air to land in Naruto's outstretched palm. The boy hadn't moved from his position against the post. I imagined the bells were already mine, Naruto explained, his voice dreamy and distant. And I imagined you couldn't stop me. So now both those things are true. Sasuke stared, Sharingan spinning uselessly. There was no jutsu to copy, no chakra flow to analyze. Reality had simply been edited. Sakura felt her legs go weak. This is what true power looks like. Kakashi struggled against the quicksand earth and water air, finally managing to form hand signs. Earth release, earth shore return. A wall of earth erupted from the ground, disrupting the quicksand. Kakashi used the momentary distraction to leap free, landing hard on solid ground 20 feet away. He was breathing heavily, eye wide. You rewrote the fundamental properties of matter, Kakashi said, shock bleeding through his usual calm. In an instant, without hand signs, without even moving. I told you, Naruto said, tossing 1 bell to Sasuke and 1 to Sakura. Both caught them reflexively. I just imagine things, and they become real. It's all I know how to do. The Jonin stared at his students, at Sasuke holding a bell he hadn't earned, at Sakura trembling with terror and awe, at Naruto who just demonstrated power that could theoretically reshape the entire world on a whim. This boy could imagine the village gone, Kakashi realized, ice spreading through his veins. He could imagine the Hokage dead, the shinobi system dismantled, reality itself rewritten from scratch, and there would be no defense, no counter, nothing. Do you know what you could do with that power? Kakashi asked quietly. Yes, Naruto said, his smile fading. I could do anything. I could imagine myself Hokage and it would be true. I could imagine the entire world bowing to me. I could imagine everyone who ever hurt me suffering forever. His eyes met Kakashi's, and the Jonin saw something ancient and tired in that young face. But I don't. Do you know why? Why? Kakashi whispered. Because none of it would be real, Naruto said. Not really. If I force people to like me, they don't actually like me. I just imagine they do. If I make myself Hokage without earning it, I'm not a real Hokage. I'd just be a lonely kid playing pretend with dolls I created. He looked away. I already live in my imagination enough. I don't want to lose track of what's actually real. Kakashi felt something shift in his understanding of the boy. This wasn't a weapon waiting to go off. This was a child with godlike power trying desperately to hold on to his humanity. Give me the bells back, Kakashi said. Naruto blinked. Sasuke clutched his bell tighter. Sakura looked confused. This exercise isn't about the bells. Kakashi continued, his visible eye curving into a genuine smile. It's about teamwork. The three of you are supposed to work together, not against each other. That's the real test. But you said, Sakura began. I lied. Ninja rule number 1, deception is a tool. Kakashi walked forward, plucking the bells from Sasuke and Sakura's reluctant hands. Then he did something that shocked all three genin. He tied both bells to Naruto's belt. You pass. All of us? Sasuke demanded. But I didn't do anything. He just... Exactly, Kakashi interrupted. Naruto could have taken both bells for himself, could have imagined you two failed, could have done anything he wanted. He looked at Naruto with newfound respect, but he shared. He gave you both a bell even though the exercise was designed to make you compete. That's what teamwork means, putting the group above yourself. Naruto stared at the bells on his belt, something warm and unfamiliar blooming in his chest. So we're a team? All three of us? Yes, Kakashi said firmly. Team 7 starts today. We train together, fight together, and protect each other. That's what it means to be part of a squad. For the first time since arriving at the training ground, Naruto's smile reached his eyes. I'd like that. Sasuke crossed his arms, looking away to hide his relief. Sakura let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Meet here tomorrow at 7 a.m., Kakashi said. And Naruto? Try not to rewrite reality too much during training. The Hokage gets complaints when you reshape the landscape. I'll try, Naruto promised, then quieter. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. The Jonin felt that twist in his chest again. When was the last time someone thanked him for anything? Team 7 was officially formed. The first few missions were predictable D ranks, catching cats, pulling weeds, painting fences. Naruto endured them with grace, though he could have imagined every task completed instantly. He was trying, really trying to be normal for his teammates' sake. It didn't always work. During a particularly frustrating mission to catch the Fire Daimyo's wife's cat, Tora, Naruto finally sighed and said, I imagine the cat is right here. Tora materialized in his arms, hissing and clawing. Naruto handed the demon cat to its owner without a scratch on his arms. He'd imagined his skin was tougher than the cat's claws. Mission complete. He said. The mission assignment desk ninja made a note. Request all future Team 7 missions be combat-oriented. D ranks are pointless. Kakashi agreed. His team needed real experience, especially before Naruto's power grew bored with mundane tasks and did something creative to entertain himself. So when Tazuna the bridge builder walked into the Hokage's office requesting protection to the Land of Waves, Hiruzen saw an opportunity. Team 7, the Hokage announced. You have a C-rank mission. Escort Tazuna safely to his home and protect him while he completes his bridge. Tazuna was a grizzled old drunk who reeked of cheap sake and desperation. He looked at Team 7 with obvious disappointment. These brats are supposed to protect me? The little blonde one looks like he'd blow away in a strong wind. Naruto smiled that distant, dreamy smile. I imagine strong winds blow around me, not through me. A gust of wind chose that moment to sweep through the office. It parted around Naruto like water around a stone, leaving his hair perfectly still while papers whipped past on either side. Tazuna's eyes widened. What the? Let's go, Kakashi said quickly, steering his team out before the bridge builder could ask dangerous questions. They left Konoha at dawn, traveling along the road toward the Land of Waves. Sasuke kept to himself, brooding as usual. Sakura walked close to their client, trying to appear professional. Naruto drifted along at the rear, seemingly lost in thought, but actually hyper-aware of everything around them. 2 hours into the journey, Naruto spoke up. There's a puddle ahead. So? Sasuke said. It hasn't rained in 3 days, Naruto said softly. Why would there be a puddle? Kakashi's hand moved subtly to his kunai pouch. Good instincts. They passed the puddle. 2 figures erupted from it. The Demon Brothers, Chunin-level ninja from Kirigakure, wrapped in their signature claw and chain weapons. Die! They screamed in unison, chains wrapping around Kakashi and ripping him apart in a spray of blood. Sakura shrieked. Sasuke's Sharingan flared. The Demon Brothers pivoted toward Tazuna, murder in their eyes. Naruto stepped between them and the client. That wasn't very nice, he said, his voice calm. I imagine your chains are made of paper. The brothers felt their weapons change texture mid-swing. The metal chains became delicate origami paper, fluttering uselessly in the breeze. Their deadly claws were now folded paper decorations. What did you? one brother began. I also imagine you're both very tired, Naruto continued. So tired you can't stand. The demon brothers' legs gave out. They collapsed to the ground, eyelids drooping, fighting against an exhaustion that had appeared from nowhere. Within seconds, both were unconscious. Kakashi emerged from the trees, very much alive, eye curved in approval. Nice work. Substitution? Naruto asked, unsurprised. Substitution, Kakashi confirmed. I wanted to see how you'd react to danger. By turning their weapons into paper? Sakura asked, staring at the origami chains scattered on the ground. It seemed appropriate, Naruto said. They threatened someone we're protecting, but killing them felt excessive. So I removed their weapons and put them to sleep. He looked at Kakashi. Was that wrong? No, the Jonin said slowly. That was remarkably restrained, actually. He'd half expected Naruto to imagine the attackers dead or erased from existence. This showed control. Tazuna stared at the boy with newfound fear and respect. What are you, kid? Someone who imagines things, Naruto replied, already walking down the road. Come on, we have a bridge to protect. They bound the demon brothers and left them for Konoha retrieval teams. The rest of the journey to the coast was uneventful. The land of waves appeared through morning mist, a small island nation suffering under the tyrannical grip of a shipping magnate named Gato. Tazuna's bridge, once completed, would free his people from Gato's monopoly. They traveled by boat, a nervous ferryman rowing them through fog so thick Naruto could have painted it. Stay quiet, the ferryman whispered. Gato has patrols. Naruto tilted his head, listening to something the others couldn't hear. There's someone ahead. Someone strong. The mist thickened impossibly. A massive sword materialized out of the white void, cleaving toward Kakashi's neck. The Jonin ducked, sharing an eye already uncovered and spinning red. Everyone down! A figure emerged from the mist. Tall, bandaged, carrying an executioner's blade as long as a man. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Kakashi Hatake, Zabuza growled, his voice like grinding gravel. The copy ninja. This is an honor. I'll have fun adding your corpse to my collection. Zabuza Momochi, Kakashi replied, tensing into a combat stance. A rank missing nin. What's a swordsman doing working for a thug like Gato? Money's money. Zabuza's killing intent flooded the area like poison. Now die, hidden mist jutsu. The fog became absolute, visibility reduced to inches. Kakashi's Sharingan could barely penetrate it. He'll use the mist to attack from our blind spots. Kakashi called to his students. Protect Tazuna and each other. I'll handle. No need, Naruto said softly. The mist evaporated. Not dispersed by wind or burned away by fire. Simply gone. One moment the world was white fog. The next, crystal clear visibility under blue sky. Zabuza stood exposed on the water's surface, his hidden mist jutsu negated completely. What? How? I imagined there was no mist, Naruto explained, stepping onto the water's surface. He hadn't bothered with chakra control. He'd simply imagined he could walk on water, so he could. I don't like fighting blind. It's inconvenient. Zabuza's eyes narrowed behind his bandages. A brat with delusions. I'll cut you down first. He swung the executioner's blade with both hands, the massive weapon slicing through air with enough force to cleave stone. Naruto didn't dodge. The blade struck him directly and bounced off with a metallic clang. I imagine my skin is harder than diamond, Naruto said, examining where the blade had hit him. Not even a scratch. Your sword is impressive, but it's still just steel. Zabuza leaped back, reassessing. This wasn't a normal genin. This wasn't even a normal ninja. Interesting, the demon growled. Let's see how you handle this. Water clone jutsu. A dozen water clones erupted from the lake's surface surrounding Naruto. They attacked from all angles, blades flashing. Naruto closed his eyes. I imagine there are hands of stone beneath the water. The lake itself rebelled. Massive stone hands, each the size of a house, erupted from the depths. They moved with impossible speed, swatting water clones like flies. Each clone burst into harmless water on impact. Zabuza barely dodged a stone fist that would have pulverized him. What kind of bloodline is this? Not a bloodline, Naruto said, opening his eyes. They glowed faintly blue, like afternoon sky given form. Just imagination. He pointed at Zabuza's sword. That's a nice blade. I wonder what it tastes like. The executioner's blade rippled. Its steel composition changed, molecular structure rewriting itself in an instant. Zabuza felt the weight shift in his hands, looked down and saw his legendary weapon had become Cookie dough, he whispered in horror. The blade was now a massive cookie, perfectly blade-shaped but completely edible. Naruto walked forward, plucked it from Zabuza's unresisting hands, and took a bite. Chocolate chip, Naruto said, chewing thoughtfully. Good choice. Team 7 watched in stunned silence as their teammate ate one of the Seven Swordsman's legendary weapons like a snack. Zabuza stood frozen, his mind unable to process what had just happened. His sword, his pride, his symbol, his weapon that had cut down hundreds was a cookie. I'm going to kill you, Zabuza said, his voice empty of emotion. I'm going to personally... I imagine you're floating, Naruto interrupted. Gravity stopped applying to Zabuza. The missing 9 began rising into the air, limbs flailing uselessly. He tried to form hand signs for a jutsu, but Naruto simply said, I imagine you can't use chakra right now. The chakra pathways in Zabuza's body shut down like valves closing. Not sealed, simply turned off as if they'd never existed. You're not human, Zabuza gasped, floating 20 feet above the water. I'm human, Naruto said quietly. I just have a very good imagination. He gestured, and floating weapons materialized around him, not kunai or shuriken, but sleek modern missiles with guidance systems and explosive payloads. Weapons that shouldn't exist in this world, pulled from Naruto's memory of things he'd imagined. These are called missiles, Naruto explained. They're very effective. The missiles launched, Zabuza couldn't dodge, couldn't defend, couldn't even access his chakra. The explosions consumed him, a cascade of fire and force that lit up the morning sky. When the smoke cleared, Zabuza was falling, burned and broken, but alive. Naruto had imagined the missiles powerful enough to defeat but not kill. The demon of the hidden mist hit the water hard and didn't move. Senbon needles suddenly peppered Zabuza's neck. A figure in a hunter-nin mask appeared beside the fallen swordsman's body, checking for a pulse. He's dead, the masked ninja said, voice soft and feminine. Thank you for your assistance. I've been tracking this criminal for weeks. The hunter-nin grabbed Zabuza's body and vanished in a swirl of mist. Kakashi frowned. Something felt off about that, but he couldn't place what. Naruto watched the hunter-nin disappear, head tilted. That wasn't a real hunter-nin. How do you know? Sakura asked. Hunter-nin destroy the body on site to prevent village secrets from being stolen, Naruto said. She took the body with her, which means Zabuza isn't dead. Kakashi's visible eye widened. You're right. That means... We'll see them again, Naruto finished, but later, we should get to Tazuna's house. The ferryman rowed them to shore in shocked silence. Nobody spoke. What could they say? They'd just watched a 12-year-old turn a legendary sword into a cookie and defeat an A-rank missing nin with weapons that shouldn't exist. Tazuna's house was a humble structure on the outskirts of a small fishing village. His daughter Tsunami and her son Inari greeted them with tired smiles. Thank you for protecting my father, Tsunami said, bowing. Inari, a young boy with sad eyes, looked at the ninja and scoffed. What's the point? Gato will just kill you all anyway. Heroes don't exist. Naruto knelt to the boy's eye level. You're right, heroes don't exist. Inari blinked, surprised. But that doesn't mean people can't try to do good things. Your grandfather is building a bridge to free your village. That's not heroic. It's just necessary. And we're here to protect him because we were hired to, not because we're heroes. Then you'll leave when you're not paid enough, Inari said bitterly. Maybe, Naruto agreed. Or maybe we'll stay because we imagined ourselves as the kind of people who don't abandon others. He smiled that distant smile. Belief shapes reality, Inari. If you imagine the world is hopeless, it becomes hopeless. If you imagine there's a chance, even a small one, that chance becomes real. The boys stared at him, uncertain whether to be comforted or confused. That night, Team 7 set up a watch rotation. Kakashi took first shift, Sasuke second, Sakura third. Naruto didn't sleep, he rarely did. Instead, he sat by the window watching the stars and imagining them as glowing fish swimming through an ocean sky. You know they're really coming back. You're really coming back, Kakashi said quietly, appearing beside him. Zabuza and the fake hunter nin, Naruto confirmed, probably in a week once Zabuza recovers. Can you just imagine them defeated? End this now? Naruto was silent for a long moment. I could imagine Gato dead, his organization dissolved, the bridge completed, the village saved. I could imagine all of it done in an instant. He looked at Kakashi with those two old eyes. But then it wouldn't be real. The village wouldn't have freed itself. I would have freed it. Tazuna wouldn't have built his bridge, I would have. And what happens when I leave? They'd still be dependent, still weak, still waiting for someone else to save them. So, you're letting them struggle? Kakashi said. I'm letting them try, Naruto corrected. There's a difference. If they really need me, I'll help, but I want to see if they can do it themselves first. People are stronger than they think. They just need the chance to prove it. Kakashi studied his student's profile, seeing the loneliness etched in every line. This boy could reshape the world, but chose to hold back, watching from the sidelines, desperate to see humanity succeed on its own terms, because if he did everything, he'd truly be alone, the only real thing in a world of his own imagination. You're wise beyond your years, Kakashi said softly. I have a lot of time to think, Naruto replied. When you can stop time by imagining it, hours become days in your head. I've lived years in the space between heartbeats. The Jonin felt a chill. How old was Naruto really, in experience if not in body? Get some rest, sensei, Naruto said. Tomorrow we start training. I want to see what Sasuke and Sakura can do. Maybe I can learn to be more like them. More like them? Kakashi echoed, surprised. Normal, Naruto explained. Limited, human. I want to understand what it's like to struggle for power instead of just imagining it into existence. Kakashi didn't know what to say to that, so he left the boy to his stargazing. Outside in the darkness, two figures watched the house. Zabuza, bandaged and healing, stood beside the masked hunter nin who'd taken his body. That blonde brat, Zabuza growled. What is he? Something beyond our understanding? The masked ninja replied, removing the hunter mask to reveal delicate features. Haku, Zabuza's apprentice and tool, looked troubled. His power, it's not chakra-based, it's something else, something that rewrites the laws of nature itself. Can we beat him? Haku was silent. Finally, no, not with power, he's beyond that, but everyone has weaknesses, even gods. What's his weakness? Loneliness, Haku said softly. Do you see his eyes? He's the most powerful person I've ever sensed, and the most alone. He doesn't want to use his power. He wants connection, he wants to be human. Zabuza's eyes gleamed behind his bandages. Then we'll use that against him. They vanished into the mist, plotting their next move. Inside, Naruto felt their presence fade and smiled to himself. This would be interesting. Training began the next morning. Kakashi led his team to the forest near Tazuna's bridge construction site. Tree walking exercise, Kakashi announced, demonstrating by walking up a vertical trunk. Focus chakra to your feet. Too much and you'll blast off. Too little and you'll fall. It teaches control. Sasuke tried first. His Sharingan analyzed Kakashi's chakra flow, and within an hour, he was walking halfway up the tree before slipping. Sakura, with her naturally excellent chakra control, made it 3/4 of the way on her first attempt. They both looked at Naruto expectantly. The blonde boy stared at the tree for a long moment. Then he walked up it, not with chakra control, but simply because he'd imagined gravity worked sideways for him. He reached the top, walked across the canopy upside down, then returned to the ground. I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it, Sakura said weakly. Probably not, Naruto agreed. He looked at Kakashi. Can I try it the normal way? The human way? Kakashi blinked. You want to learn chakra control? You can literally rewrite physics. Why would you need... Because I want to understand, Naruto interrupted, and there was genuine longing in his voice. I want to know what it feels like to struggle and fail and improve. I want to earn something instead of just imagining it. The Jonin felt that twist in his chest again. All right, try it without using your reality warping. Naruto focused, really focused, trying to feel the energy inside him the way Kakashi had described. He gathered chakra, or what he thought was chakra, to his feet and stepped onto the tree. He fell. Sasuke smirked. Sakura gasped. Naruto picked himself up, leaves in his hair, and smiled. It was the most genuine smile Kakashi had ever seen on the boy's face. I failed, Naruto said, wonder in his voice. I actually failed at something. He laughed, a sound of pure joy. This is amazing. Let me try again. He tried again, and again, and again. By the end of the day, Sasuke was nearly at the top. Sakura had made it all the way. Naruto was still falling at the halfway point, grinning like a maniac every time he hit the ground. You're enjoying this too much, Sasuke muttered, disturbed by Naruto's enthusiasm for failure. You don't understand, Naruto said, eyes shining. This is the first time in my life something didn't just work because I wanted it to. I'm actually learning, growing, struggling like a real person. Kakashi watched his student fall and rise and fall again with newfound understanding. This boy, who could have anything with a thought, treasured the one thing his power couldn't give him, the authentic human experience of gradual improvement. That night, they ate dinner with Tazuna's family. Inari watched Naruto with curious eyes. "Why do you keep training that weird tree thing?" the boy asked. "You defeated Zabuza without even trying. What's the point?" "Because defeating Zabuza was easy," Naruto said, serving himself rice. "Anyone can win if they just imagine it, but learning to control chakra properly, that's hard. That takes effort and time and patience, and things that are hard are more valuable than things that are easy." "That's stupid," Inari said, but there was less bitterness in his voice. "Power is power." "No," Naruto said gently. "Power you earn means something. Power you're just given is hollow." He looked at his hands. "I was given my power. I never asked for it, never earned it. So I'm trying to earn other things instead. Skills, relationships, understanding. Those things matter more than what I can imagine into existence." Tsunami smiled warmly at the blonde boy. "You're very wise for your age." "I've had a lot of time to think," Naruto said, echoing his words to Kakashi. The week passed quickly. Zabuza and Haku didn't attack, letting the Genin train and lower their guard. Tazuna's bridge construction progressed steadily. Naruto continued his chakra control training, refusing to use his reality warping as a shortcut. Sasuke grew grudgingly respectful of the blonde's dedication. Sakura started seeing Naruto as a person rather than a monster. On the 7th day, as mist rolled in over the bridge, Kakashi's eyes narrowed. "They're here," he said. The mist thickened impossibly fast, but this time, when Naruto tried to imagine it away, it persisted. He frowned. "Interesting. Someone's countering my imagination with their own determination." A voice echoed through the white void. "A certain someone once told me that if you have something precious to protect, you can become truly strong." Mirrors of ice materialized from the mist, dozens of them, forming a dome around Team 7. In each mirror's reflection stood a figure in a hunter Nin mask. "Secret jutsu. Crystal ice mirrors," Haku announced. "You're in my territory now, and here, even imagination has limits." The masked ninja moved between mirrors at impossible speed, Senbon needles flying from every direction. Sasuke's Sharingan could barely track the movement. Sakura threw up a defensive kunai stance. Naruto stood calmly in the center as needles peppered the air around him. "I imagine my skin is diamond," he said softly. The needles struck and shattered. Haku's eyes widened behind the mask. The technique that had never failed was completely ineffective. "Then I'll target your teammates," Haku said, shifting focus. Needles shot toward Sakura. She couldn't dodge in time. A wall of stone erupted from the ground, blocking the attack. Naruto had imagined it into existence without even looking. "I imagined protective barriers around both my teammates," Naruto continued. Translucent shields materialized around Sasuke and Sakura, deflecting any needles that came close. Haku realized the mistake. This wasn't a battle that could be won with speed or precision. This was a battle against someone who could simply decide the outcome. "Why aren't you attacking?" Haku asked, moving between mirrors. "You could imagine me defeated. Why don't you?" "Because I want to understand your technique," Naruto said honestly. "These ice mirrors are beautiful. The way you move through them, the speed, the precision, it's art. I want to appreciate it before I end this." Haku felt something twist inside. This boy, this monster of power, was appreciating the technique instead of destroying it outright. "You're strange," Haku said. "I know," Naruto agreed. Then his eyes focused. "But I can't let you hurt my team, so I imagine the mirrors melt." The crystal ice mirrors, unbreakable by normal means, began to drip. The ice lost cohesion, becoming water that splashed to the bridge's surface. Haku stood exposed, mask cracking to reveal a face of delicate beauty. "A boy," Sasuke said, Sharingan spinning. "Neither boy nor girl," Haku corrected. "Just a tool for Zabuza-sama." "No one's just a tool," Naruto said firmly. "You're a person. You have value beyond your usefulness to someone else." "You don't understand." "I imagine you do understand," Naruto interrupted, and Haku's mind suddenly flooded with memories. Memories of being valued for who they were, not what they could do. Memories that felt real even though they'd never happened. Haku staggered, clutching their head. What did you? I showed you what it feels like to be valued as a person, Naruto said softly. Because everyone deserves to know that feeling at least once. The masked ninja looked at this strange blonde boy with new eyes. Then senbon needles erupted from the mist, but these were aimed at Haku. Zabuza emerged, killing intent blazing. Failure. If you can't complete your mission, you're worthless to me. Haku's eyes widened in betrayal. Naruto moved without thinking. Stone hands erupted from the bridge, catching the needles mid-flight. I imagine you can't hurt Haku. Zabuza's muscles locked. He couldn't move, couldn't attack, couldn't even speak. Reality had decided he was incapable of harming his apprentice. Let me go, brat, Zabuza snarled, fighting against the invisible restraints. No, Naruto said calmly. You just tried to kill someone precious to you because they weren't useful enough. That's not how people work. People aren't tools. In the shinobi world, everyone's a tool, Zabuza roared. Then the shinobi world is wrong, Naruto said simply. I imagine a world where people are valued as people, and in that world, Zabuza Momochi cannot kill Haku. The demon of the hidden mist felt something fundamental shift inside him. The absolute conviction that people were expendable resources cracked. He looked at Haku, really looked, and saw not a tool but a person he'd raised, trained, and yes, cared for. What did you do to me? Zabuza whispered. I helped you remember something you'd forgotten, Naruto said. Now, are you going to keep trying to kill the bridge builder, or are you going to walk away? Before Zabuza could answer, footsteps echoed across the bridge. Dozens of them. Gato appeared with an army of thugs and mercenaries at his back, easily 50 armed men. The short, greedy magnate grinned maliciously. Well, well, Gato sneered. The demon of the hidden mist brought to his knees by a child. How pathetic. I was going to pay you, Zabuza, but why bother? I'll just kill you all and save the money. Zabuza's eyes blazed with rage, but he still couldn't move. Haku stepped forward, forming Ice Senbon. I won't let you. I imagine Gato's army is very, very small, Naruto said, his voice dropping to something cold and distant. The reality warp hit like a physical force. 50 armed mercenaries suddenly became 3 inches tall, screaming in tiny voices as their weapons became toothpick-sized. Gato himself shrunk to the size of a mouse, his voice a high-pitched squeak. Step on them, Naruto suggested to the villagers who'd gathered to watch the bridge completion. The villagers, emboldened by the tyrant's new stature, did exactly that. Tiny screams filled the air as Gato and his army were literally crushed beneath the feet of the people they'd oppressed. When it was done, Naruto imagined them back to normal size, or rather, imagined their corpses back to normal size. The villagers stared in horror at what they'd done, then at Naruto. You made us murderers, one whispered. No, Naruto said quietly. I gave you the opportunity to fight back. You chose to take it. The blood is on your hands and mine equally. He looked at them without judgment. But Gato would have killed you all eventually. Sometimes survival requires ugly choices. The villagers didn't know whether to thank him or fear him. They settled for silence. Zabuza, finally released from the reality lock, stared at Naruto with new understanding. You're more dangerous than I thought. Not because of your power, but because you understand people. I've had a lot of time to observe, Naruto said. Being alone gives you that. Haku approached the blonde boy, removing their cracked mask completely. Thank you for showing me I'm more than a tool. You're welcome, Naruto said, smiling. Everyone deserves to know their worth. We'll leave, Zabuza said, slinging what remained of his cookie sword over his shoulder. Someone had found it half-eaten. No point staying in this country now. But kid, Naruto, I owe you. You changed something in me today. If you ever need help, find me. I'll remember that. Naruto said. Zabuza and Haku walked away, 2 missing nin heading toward an uncertain future, but walking together, no longer bound by the rigid tool and master dynamic. Tazuna approached Naruto, tears in his eyes. Thank you, boy. You saved more than just my bridge. You saved my village's spirit. Your bridge saved itself, Naruto corrected. I just dealt with the obstacle in the way. You and your people did the real work. The bridge builder laughed. You're too humble for someone who can reshape reality. Humility is all I have left, Naruto said softly. Everything else I could just imagine into existence. Team 7 stayed 3 more days to ensure the bridge's completion. Inari, inspired by Naruto's words about imagination shaping reality, started dreaming of a better future for his village. Tsunami hugged Naruto goodbye with genuine warmth. "You're always welcome here," she said. "Thank you," Naruto replied. "That means more than you know." They left the Land of Waves behind, the bridge standing as testament to human determination over tyranny. On the journey home, Sakura asked the question they'd all been thinking. "Naruto, why didn't you just imagine the whole mission complete from the start?" "Because then it wouldn't have been real," Naruto said, gazing at the sky. "Tezuna's bridge means something because he built it despite opposition. The village's freedom means something because they claimed it themselves. If I just imagined it all done, it would be hollow, an illusion." "But you did help," Sasuke pointed out. "You killed Gado's army." "I gave them the opportunity," Naruto corrected. "They made the choice. There's a difference between removing obstacles and doing everything yourself." Kakashi listened to his student's philosophy and wondered if Naruto was too wise for his own good. Or perhaps that wisdom was the only thing keeping his godlike power from consuming him. They returned to Konoha to find the village buzzing with news. The Chunin exams were approaching, and Konoha would be hosting teams from every major nation. "Perfect timing," Kakashi said, eye curving into a smile. "I'm recommending Team 7 for participation." Sasuke's eyes gleamed with anticipation. Sakura looked nervous. Naruto tilted his head, curious. "Will there be strong opponents?" Naruto asked. "The strongest genin from every village," Kakashi confirmed. "You'll face techniques and abilities you've never encountered." Naruto smiled that distant smile. "Good. I want to see what people can do when they can't imagine their way to victory. I want to understand real strength." "You might be disappointed," Kakashi warned. "Against your power, even the strongest genin won't stand much chance." "Then I'll hold back," Naruto said simply. "I'll fight them as if I were normal. Use only techniques I've learned, not things I've imagined. It'll be a good challenge." Sasuke scoffed. "You can't just turn off your power." "Can't I?" Naruto's eyes twinkled. "I imagine I'm just a normal genin with average abilities." The overwhelming presence that always surrounded Naruto, the sense that reality bent around him, vanished. He felt ordinary, like any other 12-year-old ninja. "Is it gone?" Sakura asked, amazed. "For now," Naruto confirmed. "I imagine myself limited, so I am. It'll make the exams more interesting." Kakashi shook his head in wonder. Only Naruto could use reality warping power to make himself weaker. The Chunin exams began with a written test designed to test information gathering. Naruto, having imagined himself normal, actually struggled with the questions. He had to cheat like everyone else, glancing at other papers, using reflections, employing actual ninja techniques. When he successfully copied an answer using a mirror technique he'd practiced, he felt genuine pride. "I cheated without using my imagination," he whispered excitedly to himself. Sakura, sitting nearby, didn't know whether to be amused or concerned. The final question came. A choice between attempting it and risking permanent disqualification from ever taking the Chunin exams again, or leaving now with the chance to try again next year. Naruto raised his hand immediately. "I'm not leaving. Ask your question." Ibiki Morino, the sadistic test proctor, smiled. "Why so confident?" "Because I've already failed at enough things today," Naruto said cheerfully. "What's one more failure? But I'd rather fail trying than succeed by giving up." Ibiki's smile widened. "You pass. All of you who stayed, you pass." The second phase took place in the Forest of Death, a 44 training ground filled with dangerous wildlife and more dangerous genin teams. Each team received either a Heaven or Earth scroll and had 5 days to secure the opposite scroll and reach the tower at the forest center. Team 7 received an Earth scroll. "Remember," Kakashi said before they entered. "In there, anyone might be an enemy. Trust your teammates and watch each other's backs." They entered the forest. 20 minutes later, they encountered their first opponents, a team from Amegakure, rain ninja with water-based techniques. Sasuke engaged them with taijutsu and fire jutsu. Sakura provided support with kunai and basic techniques. Naruto, still limiting himself, fought hand-to-hand and actually took a punch that split his lip. "I got hurt," he said, touching the blood with wonder. "I actually got hurt." "Stop sounding so happy about it," Sakura yelled, deflecting a water whip. They defeated the Ami team and secured a Heaven scroll. Progress was being made. Then the grass started to rustle in an unnatural pattern, and a massive killing intent flooded the forest. Team 7 froze. The pressure was immense, primal, suffocating. Sasuke's Sharingan activated on instinct. Sakura couldn't breathe. Naruto felt it and smiled. "Oh, this is interesting." A figure emerged from the undergrowth, tall, pale, with yellow snake eyes and a smile that promised death. Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, wearing the face of a Kusagakure Genin he'd killed. "Well, well," the Sannin hissed. "What delicious prey I've found. The last Uchiha and the Nine Tails container. How fortunate." Kakashi had warned them about Orochimaru. Forbidden human experimenter, immortality seeker, S-rank missing nin. The snake Sannin who defected from Konoha years ago and now pursued dark knowledge with religious fervor. "Sasuke," Orochimaru said, his tongue extending impossibly far. "I've been watching you. That hatred, that drive, I can give you the power to achieve your revenge." Before anyone could react, Orochimaru's tongue wrapped around Naruto, lifting him off the ground. "But first, let's test the container. I want to see if the Nine Tails will emerge when pushed." The pressure increased. Naruto felt Orochimaru's chakra pressing against him, trying to trigger the seal, trying to draw out the fox. Naruto's self-imposed limitations shattered. His eyes blazed blue, not with chakra, but with pure creative force. "I imagine," he said, voice calm despite being constricted, "that you are what you pretend to be, a real snake. Small, weak, primitive." Orochimaru felt his mind fracturing. His body began to shrink, thoughts simplifying, humanity draining away. He was becoming an actual snake, not metaphorically, but literally. His consciousness was regressing to reptilian simplicity. The Sannin screamed, releasing Naruto and stabbing himself in the leg to create pain. The shock of injury broke him free from the reality warp, but the terror remained. "What are you?" Orochimaru gasped, sweating for the first time in decades. "That wasn't chakra. That wasn't genjutsu. You were rewriting my existence itself." "I'm someone who imagines things," Naruto said, floating gently to the ground. "And I imagined you as the snake you act like. If I'd held it a few more seconds, you would have forgotten you were ever human. Just another mindless serpent in the grass." Orochimaru stared at the boy with new eyes, not hunger for power or curiosity about the Nine Tails, but genuine existential fear. This child could erase him from existence, or worse, trap him in a form where he wouldn't even remember being Orochimaru. "I'll leave," the Sannin said, backing away slowly. "I won't touch the Uchiha. I won't interfere with your team. Just don't do that again." "Then don't threaten my teammates," Naruto said simply. Orochimaru vanished in a swirl of leaves, fleeing faster than he'd ever fled from anyone. In his hidden laboratory, later that day, he'd destroy all his notes on the Nine Tails container. Some things were too dangerous to pursue. Sasuke and Sakura stood in shocked silence. "You just made Orochimaru run away," Sasuke said slowly. "One of the legendary Sannin. You made him run away in fear." "He was threatening you," Naruto said, as if it were obvious. "I wasn't going to let that stand." "What did you do to him?" Sakura whispered. "I started turning him into what he represented, a snake. His mind was becoming serpentine, his body shrinking, his humanity evaporating. If I'd finished, he would have been just another garden snake with no memory of ever being human." Naruto looked at his hands. "It's one of the scarier things I can do. Not killing people, but making them forget they were ever people to begin with." They were silent for a long moment. "Thank you," Sasuke said finally, the words clearly difficult, "for protecting us." "That's what teammates do," Naruto said, smiling. "Right?" They reached the tower on the third day, scrolls in hand. Other teams filtered in, Team Guy with Rock Lee, Neji, and Tenten, Team Asuma with Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji, Team Baki from Suna with Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro. The preliminary rounds were announced. Too many teams had passed, so one-on-one fights would determine who advanced to the finals. The matchups appeared on the board: Sasuke Uchiha versus Yoroi Akado, Shino Aburame versus Zaku Abumi, Kankuro versus Misumi Tsurugi, Sakura Haruno versus Ino Yamanaka, Temari versus Tenten, Shikamaru Nara versus Kintsuchi, Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka, Neji Hyuga versus Hinata Hyuga, Gaara versus Rock Lee. Naruto studied the board, then looked at Kiba Inuzuka, a wild-looking boy with dog-like features and a small white puppy named Akamaru on his head. "This'll be fun," Naruto said. "Fun," Kiba scoffed. "I'm going to destroy you dead last." The fights began. Sasuke defeated Yoroi by copying his technique and using superior speed. Shino's insects devoured Zaku's sound-based attacks. Kankuro used his puppet masterfully to win. Then came Sakura versus Ino, a battle of former friends turned rivals. It ended in a double knockout when both used the inner Sakura clash technique simultaneously. Tamari decimated Tenten with Winjutsu. Shikamaru defeated Kin through strategic shadow manipulation. Then Naruto's name was called. He stepped into the arena, facing Kiba and Akamaru. "I'm going to make this quick," Kiba said confidently. "Beast human clone." Akamaru transformed into a copy of Kiba. Both began spinning. Fang over fang! They became twin drilling projectiles aimed at Naruto. Naruto didn't move. "I imagine there's lava beneath your feet." The arena floor rippled. Molten rock appeared in a circle around Kiba and Akamaru, not touching them but close enough that the heat was unbearable. Kiba's technique faltered as he desperately tried to avoid the lava. Akamaru whimpered, reverting to puppy form. "I forfeit," Kiba yelled. "Just make it stop." Naruto blinked. "Oh, okay." The lava vanished as if it had never existed. Kiba and Akamaru fled the arena and the proctor declared Naruto the winner. The entire room stared in silence. "That was terrifying," someone whispered. Next came Neji versus Hinata, a battle between branch and main house, between genius and supposed failure. Neji dominated with his gentle fist, striking Hinata's chakra points and declaring fate was absolute. "You're weak because you were fated to be weak," Neji said coldly. "That will never change." Naruto watched from the sidelines, frowning. The final preliminary match was Gaara versus Rock Lee, and it was spectacular. Lee removed his weights and moved at speeds that blurred. He opened the gates, pushed his body beyond its limits, and fought with beautiful desperation. But Gaara's sand was absolute defense. Lee's ultimate technique, the primary lotus and then the hidden lotus, shattered against the gourd's final defense. Gaara crushed Lee's arm and leg with sand, leaving the taijutsu specialist broken. As Medical Ninja rushed to help Lee, Gaara prepared to kill him. "I imagine you can't move," Naruto said from across the arena. Gaara froze mid-attack, sand falling lifeless around him. His eyes widened in shock. Nothing had ever stopped his sand before. "The match is over," Naruto continued calmly. "Lee lost. There's no reason to kill him." Gaara strained against the invisible restraints, the one tail inside him raging, but nothing worked. He was held by something beyond chakra, beyond the beast's power. Naruto walked across the arena and knelt beside Lee's broken form. "I imagine his injuries are less severe. Not healed, but survivable." Lee's shattered bones became fractures. His torn muscles became strains. Still serious, but no longer life-threatening. "Why?" Gaara asked, finally released from the hold. "Why save someone who lost?" "Because his value isn't determined by winning," Naruto said, looking at Gaara with those knowing eyes. Lee fought beautifully. He pushed himself beyond his limits. He proved that hard work can challenge genius. That's worth something, regardless of the outcome. Gaara stared at this blonde boy who'd stopped the unstoppable sand with a thought, and for the first time in his life, the monster inside him went quiet. The preliminary matches were complete. The finals were set: Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga, Sasuke Uchiha versus Gaara, Shikamaru Nara versus Temari Kankuro, bye round. The competitors had 1 month to prepare. Training consumed the next 4 weeks. Sasuke worked with Kakashi to develop new techniques. Sakura studied medical ninjutsu under the hospital staff. The other finalists pushed themselves to new heights. Naruto did something different. He sought out Neji Hyuga. The Hyuga genius was meditating in a private training ground when Naruto appeared beside him, not walking up, just suddenly there. "What do you want?" Neji asked coldly, not opening his eyes. "To talk about fate," Naruto said, sitting cross-legged on the grass. "You believe it's absolute, that everything is predetermined, that we're all trapped on rails we can't escape." "Because it's true," Neji said. "The weak are fated to remain weak. The strong to remain strong. Nothing changes." "I can change the color of the sky if I want," Naruto said casually. Neji's eyes snapped open. "What?" Naruto pointed up. The blue sky rippled, becoming purple, then green, then a swirling pattern of colors that shouldn't exist. "If I can change something as fundamental as the sky's color," Naruto continued as the sky returned to normal blue, "then fate is just another thing I can rewrite. Destiny is a suggestion, not a law." Neji stared. "You're a monster." "Maybe," Naruto agreed. "But I'm a monster who chooses to believe people can change. That hard work matters. That determination can overcome any obstacle." He looked at Neji seriously. "Lee nearly beat Gaara despite having no natural talent. Hinata stood up to you despite being afraid. They defied their fate through sheer will. That has to count for something. It counts for nothing if they lose in the end, Neji said bitterly. Then I'll prove you wrong, Naruto said, standing. In the finals, I'll show you that fate is whatever we make it. That imagination and will can reshape even absolute certainty. I'll defeat you, Neji promised. I'll show you that even your power can't overcome destiny. We'll see, Naruto said, smiling. I'm looking forward to it. He vanished, leaving Neji alone with uncomfortable thoughts. The month passed quickly. The day of the finals arrived. The arena was packed. Lords and ladies from every nation, the fire daimyo himself, shinobi of all ranks, and thousands of civilians. Konoha Stadium had never seen such a crowd. The first match was called Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. They stood facing each other on the arena floor, Neji with his Byakugan active, seeing the chakra network of everything around him, and Naruto with his calm, dreamy expression. Begin, the proctor called. Neji immediately took the gentle fist stance. You're within my divination field. You cannot escape. I'm not trying to escape, Naruto said. I'm trying to understand you. Neji charged, palms striking faster than most eyes could follow. 64 strikes aimed at every major chakra point. Naruto stood still, letting every strike land. The crowd gasped. Neji's Byakugan widened in shock. Each palm strike passed through Naruto like he was made of air. No resistance. No impact. The chakra points simply weren't there to be struck. I imagine my body is empty space, Naruto explained. No organs, no chakra network, no physical form to damage, just a shape that looks like me. Neji jumped back, reassessing. Then I'll use the rotation. He spun, releasing chakra from every chakra point in a perfect defensive sphere. 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. The technique was beautiful, a dome of chakra that repelled all attacks. Naruto walked through it. The rotation's chakra simply parted around him like he didn't exist in the same physical dimension. Your technique is impressive, Naruto said, standing inside Neji's defensive sphere. But it only works if your opponent exists in the same reality as the attack. Neji's rotation stopped. He stared at Naruto, seeing his entire worldview cracking. This is impossible, Neji whispered. No, Naruto said gently. It's imagination, and imagination makes the impossible possible. The crowd was silent, watching something they couldn't comprehend. You said fate is absolute, Naruto continued. That destiny cannot be changed. But watch, he pointed at the sky. I imagine a meteor. The temperature dropped. Shadows swept across the arena as something massive blocked the sun. Everyone looked up. A meteor, easily 300 feet across, was descending directly toward the stadium. Not fast, but inexorably. Its surface burned with atmospheric friction. Mass panic erupted. People screamed, tried to flee. The proctor stared in horror. Even the Kages in their viewing box stood, ready to intervene. Neji fell to his knees, staring at the approaching death. This is insane. Is it fate that this meteor will strike? Naruto asked, his voice cutting through the chaos. Is it destiny that we all die here? The meteor fell closer. Heat washed over the arena. Or, Naruto said, can I imagine a different outcome? He snapped his fingers. The meteor stopped. Hung in the air, frozen inches from impact. Its shadow still covered the stadium, but it wasn't moving. The panic subsided into terrified silence. Your gentle fist couldn't hurt me, Naruto said to Neji. Your rotation couldn't touch me. Your Byakugan can't see what I truly am. Everything you believed was absolute. Your technique, your genius, your fate. I just proved can be overcome by imagination. He gestured. The meteor began rising, slowly returning to the sky until it vanished completely. Now, Naruto said, kneeling beside the frozen Neji, do you still believe fate is unchangeable? Because I just changed the fate of everyone in this stadium. We were all destined to die beneath that meteor, but I imagined a different destiny. And now here we are, alive. Neji's Byakugan deactivated. Tears streamed down his face, not of sadness, but of liberation. His entire life he'd been trapped by the concept of unchangeable fate, and this strange blonde boy had just shattered that cage. I forfeit, Neji said, his voice breaking. I can't defeat someone who can rewrite destiny itself. But more than that, I don't want to. You've shown me that fate is a lie we tell ourselves. Thank you. Naruto offered his hand. Neji took it, letting the reality warper pull him to his feet. The crowd erupted in confused applause, not sure what they'd just witnessed, but knowing it was significant. In the Kage's box, Hiruzen Sarutobi exhaled slowly. That boy is going to reshape the world someday, he murmured. The Kazekage beside him, Actually, Orochimaru, in disguise, preparing his invasion, said nothing. He was too busy reevaluating whether attacking Konoha with that monster present was wise. The remaining matches proceeded. Sasuke versus Gaara was interrupted when Gaara's transformation began and the invasion started. Sound and Sand Ninja poured into the arena. Orochimaru dropped his Kazekage disguise, killed the real Kazekage's corpse double, and confronted Hiruzen on the rooftop. Naruto stood in the center of the chaos, watching shinobi fight and die around him. "I imagine the invasion stops," he said softly. Nothing happened. He frowned, trying again. Still nothing. "Why isn't it working?" he murmured. Confused, Kakashi appeared beside him. "Because you're trying to control too many individual wills at once. You can reshape matter-energy space, but changing thousands of people's choices simultaneously? That's beyond even you." "So I can't stop wars?" Naruto asked, sounding young and lost. "Not directly," Kakashi said, "but you can stop individual threats. Focus on that." Naruto nodded, understanding. He couldn't imagine world peace into existence, but he could protect what mattered. "I imagine everyone I care about has protective barriers," he said. Translucent shields materialized around every Konoha genin, every instructor Naruto had interacted with, Tazuna's family far away in Wave, and the few people who'd shown him kindness. "Now go," Kakashi said. "Help however you can." Naruto moved through the battlefield like a ghost, reality bending around him. Sound Ninja who attacked him found their weapons turning to flowers. Sand Ninja who tried to trap him found the sand refused to obey. He spotted the third Hokage trapped in a barrier with Orochimaru, the Sannin's Edo Tensei technique, summoning the first and second Hokage to fight their successor. Naruto appeared inside the barrier. Orochimaru whirled. "Impossible! The Four Violet Flames formation is absolute. Nothing can pass through it." "I imagined I was already inside," Naruto said simply. "So I was." The reanimated first and second Hokage attacked. Naruto looked at them with sad eyes. "I imagine you're at peace," he said softly. The Edo Tensei bodies stopped moving. Their souls, trapped by the forbidden technique, suddenly felt the release they'd been denied. For past the first Hokage smiled, mouthing "thank you" before both reanimations crumbled to dust. Orochimaru's eyes widened in genuine fear. "You just negated the Reaper Death Seal's binding? That's impossible." "Stop using that word around me," Naruto said, walking toward the Sannin. "Nothing is impossible if you can imagine it differently." Orochimaru fled through a hidden tunnel, abandoning the invasion entirely. His Sound Ninja, seeing their leader retreat, broke and scattered. The battle turned. Konoha's forces rallied. Within an hour, the invasion was repelled, but the cost was visible. The third Hokage sat on the rooftop, aged and exhausted. The village was damaged, people were wounded, traumatized. Naruto stood amid the debris and thought, "I can reshape reality, but I can't prevent suffering. What good is this power?" The aftermath of the invasion was somber. The third Hokage officially appointed Tsunade, who'd returned to the village just in time, as the fifth Hokage. Funerals were held for the fallen. Naruto attended them all, standing in the back, watching people mourn. He could have imagined the dead alive again, but the implications terrified him. Would they really be the same people? Or just copies his imagination created? He didn't know. So he didn't try. Instead, he created flowers on every grave. Beautiful, impossible flowers that never wilted, a small comfort for those left behind. A month passed. Team 7 resumed normal missions. Sasuke grew increasingly frustrated with his perceived weakness after seeing Naruto stop the invasion almost single-handedly. "I need more power," Sasuke told Kakashi during training. "I can't protect anyone like this." "Power isn't everything," Kakashi said. "Easy for you to say when you're not standing next to a god." Naruto heard that conversation from across the training ground. He approached slowly. "I'm not a god," Naruto said quietly. "I'm just different. And sometimes I wish I wasn't." Sasuke whirled on him. "You wish you weren't powerful? Do you have any idea how insulting that is? I train every day, push myself to the edge, and I'll never reach a fraction of what you can do with a thought." "I know," Naruto said. "And I'm sorry. I didn't ask for this power. I didn't earn it. It was just there one day when I was hungry and cold and alone, and now I can't turn it off completely." "Then why limit yourself?" Sasuke demanded. "Why pretend to struggle? Why act like you're one of us when you could reshape the world?" "Because I want to be one of you," Naruto said, and the raw honesty in his voice stopped Sasuke cold. I want friends. I want connection. I want to be seen as a person, not as a walking apocalypse. And the only way I know how to do that is to try, really try, to be normal. Sasuke stared at him, anger warring with something like understanding. You're lonely, the Uchiha said finally. Even with all that power, especially because of it, you're lonely. Yes, Naruto admitted. They stood in silence for a long moment. I'm still leaving, Sasuke said eventually. Orochimaru sent me an invitation. He's promised me the power to kill Itachi. I know, Naruto said. I've seen the curse mark on your neck. I could imagine it gone, but I haven't because it's your choice. You could stop me, Sasuke pointed out. Imagine me loyal to Konoha, and I would be. But then it wouldn't be real, Naruto said. You'd be a puppet wearing Sasuke's face. I want my friend to make his own choices, even if I don't like them. I'm not your friend, Sasuke said, but there was less conviction in his voice. You could be, Naruto said, if you stayed. Sasuke looked away, jaw clenched. Power is the only thing that matters. Without it, I can't achieve anything. That's what everyone thinks, Naruto said softly. But I have infinite power and I still can't make people care about me. Power doesn't buy connection, Sasuke. It just makes you more alone. The Uchiha didn't respond. That night, he left Konoha, curse mark burning, heading toward Orochimaru's hidden base. Tsunade called Team 7, now Team Kakashi, Naruto, and Sakura, into her office. Sasuke Uchiha has defected. I'm authorizing a retrieval mission. Bring him back. And if he refuses, Naruto asked, then stop him by force, Tsunade said. But don't kill him. He's still a Konoha ninja. The mission formed. Shikamaru as leader, Naruto, Sakura, Kiba, Neji, and Choji. They pursued Sasuke through the forests north of Konoha, tracking the Sound Four who'd been sent to escort him. Battles erupted. Choji fought Jirobo and won through pure determination. Neji faced Kidomaru and overcame fate through skill. Kiba and Akamaru barely survived Sakon and Ukon. Shikamaru nearly died fighting Tayuya before Tamari arrived to save him. Naruto and Sakura reached the Valley of the End, where Sasuke stood waiting. The waterfall roared behind them, massive statues of Madara Uchiha and the first Hokage flanking the cascade, their stone hands forming the seal of reconciliation. You came, Sasuke said, curse marks spreading across his skin. Good, I wanted to test myself against you one more time. Sasuke, please, Sakura begged. Don't do this, come back. I can't, Sasuke said. Not when there's someone in the village who makes me feel worthless just by existing. Naruto stepped forward. You're not worthless, Sasuke. You're talented, driven, skilled. Stop, Sasuke screamed. Don't patronize me. You could imagine me as the strongest ninja alive and it would be true. My entire existence is meaningless compared to you. Then fight me, Naruto said quietly. One real fight. No holding back. Show me the power you've developed. Sasuke's Sharingan spun, evolving into the three-tome pattern. Chidori! Lightning gathered in his palm, chirping like 1,000 birds. He charged. Naruto didn't move. He could imagine Sasuke defeated, could imagine the Chidori dispersed, could imagine a million different outcomes. But he didn't. The lightning blade struck Naruto's chest, piercing through his heart. Sakura screamed. Sasuke's eyes widened in shock as his hand went through Naruto's chest and met no resistance, like striking water. I imagined my body as empty space, Naruto said calmly, the hole in his chest revealing blue sky on the other side. Your attack passed right through me. Sasuke jerked his hand back, the hole in Naruto's chest sealed instantly. You can't beat me with force, Sasuke, Naruto said. Not because you're weak, but because I can simply imagine your attacks don't work. That's not a reflection of your worth, it's just the nature of my power. Then what's the point? Sasuke asked, his voice breaking. What's the point of training, of trying, of anything when you exist? The point is to become the best version of yourself, Naruto said. Not better than me. That's impossible. But better than who you were yesterday. That's a victory I can never take from you. Sasuke activated his curse mark fully. Black flame-like patterns spread across his skin. Wings erupted from his back. Curse mark stage 2. He looked monstrous. Demonic. Powerful. Naruto sighed. I really didn't want to do this, Sasuke, but I imagine... He paused, tears forming in his eyes. I imagine I am not alone. Reality split. A perfect biological duplicate of Naruto materialized beside him. Not a clone, but a real, independent person with the same memories, same power, same everything. Two Narutos stood before Sasuke. By splitting my imagination between two bodies, Naruto explained, I double my power. Two separate imaginations working in concert. Both Narutos spoke in unison. I imagined the galaxy room. The world changed. Suddenly, Sasuke was no longer standing at the Valley of the End. He was floating in the vacuum of space, stars stretching infinitely in all directions, the earth a distant blue marble below, no air. His Chidori died instantly. Fire needs oxygen. His breath left his lungs in a frozen cloud. His body temperature plummeted. This is it, Sasuke thought, consciousness fading. This is how I die. Then air returned. Warmth flooded back. He was standing at the valley again, gasping desperately. Naruto, the duplicate had vanished, stood 10 feet away, tears streaming down his face. Don't you get it, Sasuke? Naruto asked, his voice breaking. You can't beat someone who can dream your defeat. You can train for 1,000 years and it won't matter because I can just imagine you've already lost. Sasuke fell to his knees, the curse mark receding. Then why let me live? Why not just imagine me loyal? Because I care about you, Naruto said simply. You're my first friend, my first teammate, the first person who looked at me like I was a person instead of a monster, even if it was just for a moment. And I can't make you stay through force or imagination. That would just be me playing with dolls again. He walked forward, kneeling in front of Sasuke. I imagined we'd stay friends forever. That's the one thing, the only thing I can't make real, because friendship requires choice, and I won't take that choice from you. Sasuke looked into those impossibly blue eyes and saw the truth. Naruto, the boy who could reshape reality itself, was more alone than anyone in the world, because his power made genuine connection impossible. Everyone either feared him or wanted to use him. No one could stand beside him as an equal. I'm still leaving, Sasuke said, but the conviction was gone. I know, Naruto said, but maybe someday you'll come back, and when you do, I'll be waiting, as your friend. Sasuke stood, turned away. You're an idiot. Probably, Naruto agreed, smiling through his tears. The Uchiha walked away, heading back to Konoha, not because Naruto forced him, not because anyone changed his mind, but because somewhere in that conversation, Sasuke had realized that seeking power from Orochimaru would just make him dependent on another person's strength. Better to walk his own path, even if it was slower. Sakura ran to Naruto, hugging him tightly. You did it? You brought him back. No, Naruto said quietly, watching Sasuke's retreating form. He brought himself back. I just showed him why it mattered. They returned to Konoha as the sun set, mission complete, but hearts heavy with unspoken truth. Days later, Naruto sat alone on the Hokage monument, looking over the village. Every light in every window represented people. People with connections, families, friends, people who belonged. You're brooding, Kakashi said, appearing beside him. It's not a good look on you. Just thinking, Naruto replied. About Sasuke? About everything. Naruto gestured to the village below. I can protect them. I can reshape their reality, fix their problems, make their lives better. But I can't make them see me as anything other than a walking catastrophe. Some people see you differently, Kakashi said. Sakura trusts you now. Neji respects you. Even Sasuke considers you a friend, even if he won't admit it. But they're all still afraid, Naruto said. I can see it in their eyes. They wonder what would happen if I had a bad day. If I woke up one morning and imagined the village gone, they can't help being afraid. I would be too if I were them. Kakashi didn't deny it, because he couldn't. What will you do? Keep trying, Naruto said. Keep being as human as I can. Keep limiting myself, struggling with normal techniques, failing at ordinary things. Maybe someday someone will look at me and see Naruto first, reality warper second. That's very mature of you, Kakashi said. I've had a lot of time to think, Naruto replied. When you can pause reality and spend years in the space between moments, you have plenty of time for philosophy. They sat in comfortable silence, teacher and student watching the sun disappear below the horizon. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked eventually. Yes? Thank you for treating me like a person, for teaching me even though you knew I didn't need traditional training, for being someone I could talk to. Kakashi felt that familiar twist in his chest, the one that appeared whenever Naruto revealed the depth of his loneliness. You're welcome, Naruto, and for what it's worth, I've never seen you as a monster. Just a kid with an impossible burden trying to find his place in the world. That's all I've ever wanted to be, Naruto said softly. just a kid. Below, the village lights twinkled like stars, oblivious to the boy above who could unmake them all with a thought, but chose instead to simply watch and wonder what it would be like to truly belong. Somewhere in the distance, Sasuke Uchiha walked through Konoha's streets. Curse mark sealed, mind troubled, but path slightly clearer. Sakura studied medical texts, thinking about the blonde teammate who'd saved them all. Neji trained with his cousin Hinata, teaching her that fate was what you made it. And high above, Naruto Uzumaki, the most powerful and most alone person in the world, smiled that distant, dreamy smile and imagined a future where he wasn't quite so alone. He couldn't make it real, but he could hope. And sometimes, hope was enough. 2 years passed like pages turning in a book Naruto had already read. He was 15 now, taller, his face losing some of that childish roundness. The whisker marks remained, though, evidence of the nine tails sealed within him, the beast everyone feared, but that paled in comparison to what Naruto himself could do. He stood in the same spot on the Hokage monument, watching the same village lights, but everything felt different now. Team 7 had grown. Sakura had apprenticed under Tsunade, becoming a medical ninja with strength that could shatter boulders. Sasuke had actually stayed, training with Kakashi and developing the Sharingan into something formidable. They were stronger, more confident, more capable, and Naruto, he'd spent 2 years trying to be weaker. Every morning he'd imagine himself as a normal genin, average chakra reserves, standard jutsu repertoire, human limitations. He'd train with weights he didn't need, practice forms his body didn't require, struggle with techniques he could simply imagine into mastery. The other ninja thought he was dedicated. Only Kakashi understood the truth. Naruto was desperately clinging to humanity by forcing himself to experience human struggle. Still brooding? Kakashi's voice came from behind him. Naruto didn't turn. Just thinking. There's a difference. The Akatsuki are moving, Kakashi said, settling beside him. Tsunade received intelligence. They've started actively hunting the tailed beasts. Gaara was attacked 3 days ago in Suna. Is he alive? For now. But they'll come for you eventually. You and the nine tails. Naruto smiled that distant smile. They're welcome to try. Naruto, I know what you're going to say, Sensei, that I should take this seriously, that they're dangerous. He finally looked at Kakashi. But how do I take seriously a threat I could imagine away in an instant? I could think the Akatsuki don't exist, and they wouldn't. I could imagine their organization never formed. I could rewrite the past so the tailed beasts were never sealed into humans to begin with. But you won't, Kakashi said. It wasn't a question. But I won't, Naruto agreed. Because then, nothing means anything. If I solve every problem by imagining it away, what's the point of anyone else trying? What's the point of Sakura's medical training, or Sasuke's Sharingan mastery, or your own techniques? He stood, stretching. The Akatsuki are coming. Let them come. I want to see what people can do when they try their absolute hardest against impossible odds. You're using them as entertainment, Kakashi said quietly. No, Naruto replied, turning to face his teacher. I'm using them as a mirror to see if humanity is worth protecting, to see if people can be strong without reality-warping powers, to prove that I'm right to hold back, that the world doesn't need me to solve everything. And if they can't, if people fail... Naruto's eyes glowed faintly blue in the darkness. Then I'll know I've been lying to myself, that this world really is just dolls in my imagination, waiting for me to move them around. 3 days later, they came. Naruto was walking through Konoha's marketplace, carrying groceries he'd paid for with money he'd earned from D-rank missions, when the sky darkened unnaturally. Not clouds, a genjutsu, layered thick enough to affect even him if he allowed it. Naruto Uzumaki, a calm voice spoke from behind him. He turned slowly. 2 figures stood there, both wearing black cloaks adorned with red clouds. The taller one had shark-like features and carried a massive bandaged sword. The other was slender, with long dark hair and eyes that held the Sharingan, 3 tomoe spinning lazily. Itachi Uchiha, Naruto said, recognizing him from the bingo book. And Kisame Hoshigaki, the Akatsuki. You're here for the 9 tails. Perceptive, Itachi said, his voice devoid of emotion. Will you come quietly, or must we extract you by force? Naruto set down his groceries carefully. The vegetables he'd spent 20 minutes selecting, making sure to pick imperfect ones because perfect ones would make the vendor suspicious. You can try, But I should warn you, I'm not what you think I am. We know exactly what you are, Kisame grinned, shark teeth gleaming. The container for the nine-tailed fox. The brat who made a meteor appear during the Chunin exams. The reality warper. We've studied you. Then you know this is pointless, Naruto said. Itachi's eyes shifted. The three Thoumeaux in his Sharingan connected, forming a pattern like a shuriken. Mangekyo Sharingan. The world inverted. Naruto stood in a realm of blood-red sky and black water, crucified to a massive cross. Itachi appeared before him, perfect and unblemished. This is Tsukuyomi, Itachi explained, a genjutsu that takes place in an illusory world where I control time, space, and mass. In here, I can torture you for 72 hours while only 1 second passes in reality. You cannot escape. You cannot resist. You can only endure. Naruto looked around the crimson landscape with genuine interest. This is beautiful. You created an entire reality just to trap me in? That takes incredible mental discipline. You won't think it's beautiful soon, Itachi said. Multiple copies of himself appeared, each holding a blade. For the next 3 days, you will experience death repeatedly. Your mind will break. And when I release you, extracting the nine tails will be simple. The blades stabbed into Naruto simultaneously. Pain exploded through his body, or what this mental realm interpreted as his body. He gasped, feeling death creeping in. Then he smiled. I imagine, Naruto said through bloody teeth, that this isn't real. The Tsukuyomi world shattered like glass. Itachi stumbled backward in the real world, blood dripping from his eyes. Naruto stood exactly where he'd been, unmarked, unstabbed, perfectly fine. Impossible, Itachi whispered. The Tsukuyomi is absolute. No one breaks it from the inside. Your genjutsu was impressive, Naruto said, but it operated on the assumption that I'd accept the reality you created. I didn't. I imagined a different reality where your illusion had no power over me. And since my imagination trumps your chakra manipulation, he shrugged. Here we are. Kisame laughed, a sound like grinding metal. My turn then? He unwrapped Samehada, revealing the living sword covered in scales and a shark-like mouth. This beauty absorbs chakra. Let's see how you handle having your power drained. He swung. Samehada's scales extended, trying to scrape away Naruto's chakra and feed on his energy. The sword made contact, scraped across Naruto's arm, and recoiled, its shark mouth screaming in a pitch only it could produce. Kasame's eyes widened. What? Your sword is trying to absorb what it thinks is chakra, Naruto explained. But what I use isn't chakra. Not really. It's imagination given form. Samehada is trying to digest reality itself, and it's not going well for the poor thing. Samehada writhed in Kasame's hands, refusing to attack again. Fine then, Kisame snarled. I'll do this the old-fashioned way. Water-style, great shark, bullet jutsu. A massive shark made of water formed, easily the size of a house, and shot toward Naruto with devastating speed. Naruto tilted his head. Sharks live in water. I imagine this one is out of its element. The water shark suddenly found itself in air too thin to sustain its form. It gasped like a real fish, the jutsu destabilizing as its fundamental nature was rewritten. Within seconds, it splashed to the ground as ordinary water, harmless and still. Kisame took an involuntary step backward. What are you? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said simply, and I imagine Samehada is just a regular fish. The living sword transformed. One moment it was a legendary chakra-eating weapon. The next, it was a 3-foot tuna, flopping desperately on the ground, gills working uselessly in open air. Kisame stared at his hand, which now held nothing but a fishtail. No. We're leaving, Itachi said, grabbing his partner. Now. But now, Kisame. We cannot defeat him. Report to Pain immediately. They vanished in swirls of water and crows, leaving behind only a confused fish that had once been one of the Seven Swordsman's legendary blades. Naruto knelt beside it, imagining it back into sword form out of mercy. Samehada returned to its original state but refused to move as if playing dead. He left it there for Ambu to collect. As he picked up his groceries, Naruto felt empty. They'd come. They'd tried. He'd won without effort, without struggle, without even minor difficulty. 2 S-rank criminals feared across the shinobi world, and he defeated them as easily as breathing. Where was the challenge? Where was the growth? Where was the point? That night, in a cave thousands of miles away, Itachi and Kisame reported to the Akatsuki leader, Pain, whose Rinnegan eyes held the weight of gods. You failed, Pain said, his voice echoing through the cavern. We didn't fail, Itachi corrected, still wiping blood from his eyes. We encountered an impossibility. The container doesn't use chakra in any recognizable form. He manipulates reality itself through thought alone. My Tsukuyomi was broken from the inside, Itachi continued. A feat I believed impossible. Kasame Samehada refused to attack after one touch. The boy turned it into an actual fish with a thought. No hand seals, no chakra expenditure, just imagination becoming reality. Pain was silent for a long moment. Then we adjust our plans. The Nine-Tails container is beyond our current capabilities. We'll target the others first, grow stronger, and approach him last. And if we can't ever match him, Kasame asked, then we'll find a way to trap him, Pain said. Even gods have weaknesses. We'll find his. In Konoha, Naruto sat with Team 7 at their usual ramen stand. Sakura was recounting a medical procedure she'd perfected. Sasuke was quietly eating, occasionally offering tactical observations. Kakashi had his nose in his book but was clearly listening. They were comfortable with each other now. Real friends, built through 2 years of missions, training, conversations, arguments, reconciliations. Naruto had earned this, not imagined it. You're quiet, Sakura observed. That's never good. What did you do? The Akatsuki came for me today, Naruto said casually. Kakashi's book snapped shut. Sasuke's chopsticks paused midair. Sakura's hand went to her kunai pouch. And, Sasuke demanded, and I turned one of their swords into a fish, Naruto said, slurping noodles. They ran away. It was over in maybe 3 minutes. Itachi Uchiha? Sasuke asked, voice tight. Yeah, him and Kasame Hoshigaki. Your brother's Mangekyo Sharingan is impressive, Sasuke. He pulled me into a torture dimension. Very creative. Sasuke's hands clenched. And you beat him. I negated his genjutsu, if that's what you're asking. I didn't fight him, not really. He realized I was beyond his capabilities and retreated. Naruto looked at Sasuke carefully. He's very powerful. His Tsukuyomi almost worked. Another second or two and I might have actually felt threatened, if it was a lie and they both knew it. But Sasuke appreciated the gesture. Naruto trying to preserve some dignity for the brother. Sasuke still hadn't decided whether to hate or honor. They'll be back, Kakashi said. I know, Naruto replied, but next time with a different strategy. They're smart enough to recognize when direct confrontation won't work. What will you do? Sakura asked. Wait, Naruto said. Let them make their moves, see what they're really after. I could imagine them all defeated right now, but then I'd never understand their motives, their pain, what drives people to become that desperate or that ruthless. You're using international criminals as a psychology study, Kakashi observed. I'm trying to understand humanity, Naruto corrected. How do people justify terrible things? What pain drives them? If I just eliminate them, I learn nothing. But if I watch, interact, talk, maybe I'll understand what separates someone like them from someone like me when we both have the power to reshape the world. The difference, Sasuke said quietly, is that you choose not to. For now, Naruto said. But what if that changes? What if one day I wake up and decide the world would be better if I just imagined it perfect? What's stopping me except my own philosophy, which could change with a single thought? The question hung in the air, uncomfortable and unanswerable. We're stopping you, Sakura said finally. We remind you why restraint matters, why choice matters, why the struggle is worth it. Naruto looked at his teammates, his friends, and smiled genuinely. Yeah, you do. Thank you for that. Months passed. The Akatsuki captured the One Tail from Gaara. Team Kakashi rushed to Suna, arriving just after the extraction. Naruto could have imagined Gaara alive, the Biju still sealed, the Akatsuki defeated. Instead, he watched Chiyo sacrifice herself to perform the resurrection jutsu, bringing Gaara back through her own life force. Why didn't you save her? Sakura asked afterward, tears streaming. You could have imagined her alive, imagined Gaara never died. Because she chose this, Naruto said softly. She chose to give her life for the next generation. If I reversed that, I'd be stealing her choice, making her sacrifice meaningless. She earned this death. She wanted it. That's cruel, Sakura said. That's human, Naruto replied. Humans get to make choices, even fatal ones. If I override every choice I disagree with, I'm just playing with dolls. The Akatsuki struck again. 2 tails. 3 tails. 4 tails. 5 tails. Each time, Naruto arrived too late, watching the aftermath, feeling the weight of villages mourning their Jinchuriki. He could have prevented it all. could have imagined the Akatsuki's plans failed, he didn't. "You're letting people die?" Tsunade accused in her office. "You have the power to stop this, and you're choosing not to." "Yes," Naruto said, meeting her angry gaze calmly. "Because if I solve everything, humanity becomes dependent on me. What happens when I'm gone? When I'm not around to imagine away every threat? The world needs to learn to save itself." "That's not your decision to make. Neither is when to use godlike power," Naruto countered. "But it was given to me anyway, so I have to decide. Do I become the world's savior, solving every problem until humanity forgets how to stand on its own? Or do I let people struggle, fail, and occasionally die so they remember they're responsible for their own fate?" "People are dying, Naruto." "People are always dying," he said quietly, "with or without my intervention. At least this way, they die making their own choices, not having their strings pulled by someone who thinks he knows better." Tsunade slammed her fist on the desk, cracking it. "Get out!" He left, feeling the weight of her anger, Sakura's disappointment, even Sasuke's quiet judgment. They didn't understand. How could they? They'd never held the power to rewrite reality and chosen not to use it. That night, sitting alone in his apartment, Naruto had a visitor. Jiraiya knocked once and entered, his usual grin subdued. "Heard you're the most hated person in the village right now." "Probably," Naruto agreed. The legendary Sannin sat heavily. "Want to talk about it?" "What's the point?" Naruto asked. "You'll tell me I should save people. That, with great power comes great responsibility. That I'm being selfish by holding back." "Actually," Jiraiya said, "I was going to say you're in an impossible position and I don't envy you one bit." Naruto looked up, surprised. "I've spent my whole life writing stories about heroes," Jiraiya continued. "Champions who swoop in and save the day. But you know what I've realized? Those stories work because the heroes have limits. They struggle. They can fail. The tension comes from uncertainty." He looked at Naruto seriously. "You don't have that. You can't fail unless you choose to. Every problem you face has a solution. I imagine it's solved. So what does heroism even mean for you?" "I don't know," Naruto admitted. "See, everyone wants you to save them, but they also resent that you can. They want you to solve their problems, but they hate being helpless. They need you, but they fear what you represent." Jiraiya pulled out a flask, took a swig, and the worst part? They're right to feel all of that. You are a walking catastrophe waiting to happen. You could solve everything, and they are helpless compared to you. "So what do I do?" "Damned if I know, kid," Jiraiya said. "But I'll tell you this. The fact that you're asking means you still care about the answer. That's what separates you from monsters like Orochimaru who just take power and use it however they want. You're trying to find a moral framework for something that has no precedent." "I'm so tired," Naruto said quietly. "Tired of holding back. Tired of watching people suffer when I could stop it. Tired of being hated for having power and for not using it. No matter what I do, it's wrong." "Welcome to leadership," Jiraiya said. "Every decision disappoints someone. Every choice has a cost. The only difference is that your choices have bigger consequences than most." They sat in silence for a while. "You know what scares me most?" Naruto finally asked. "It's not the power. It's how easy it would be to use it. To just imagine world peace, imagine everyone happy, imagine all problems solved. It would take one thought, one moment of weakness where I decide I know better than everyone else, and I'd never even realize I'd crossed that line because I could imagine I was still making the right choice." "Then don't do it alone," Jiraiya said. "Trust your team. Let them anchor you to reality. When you start doubting what's real versus what you've imagined, ask them. They'll tell you the truth." "What if I imagine they agree with me when they don't?" Jiraiya had no answer for that. The 8 tails fell. Only the 9 tails remained, sealed within Naruto himself. The Akatsuki's strategy became clear. They were going to draw Naruto out, force him into a confrontation on their terms. Pain himself issued the challenge through messenger bird. "Face me at the ruins of Uzushiogakure, the land of your mother's people. 1 week. Come alone, or we'll raise Konoha to find you." "It's a trap," Kakashi said. "Obviously," Naruto agreed. "You're going anyway," Sakura said. "Obviously." "Then we're coming with you," Sasuke said. "No," Naruto replied. "This is my fight. The Akatsuki want me, not you." "We're a team," Sakura insisted. "We fight together." Naruto looked at them, his team, his friends, the people who'd chosen to stand beside him despite knowing what he was. If I imagine you're somewhere safe, you'll be there instantly. You can't stop me from protecting you. Then we'll just follow you after, Sasuke said. You can't watch us every second. He was right. Naruto laughed, genuinely amused. Fine, but you let me handle Pain. He's beyond even your level. We'll handle whoever else shows up, Kakashi said. You focus on the leader. They traveled for 5 days to reach Uzushiyogakure's ruins, a village destroyed decades ago, now just crumbling buildings reclaimed by nature. The ocean crashed against broken walls. Wind whistled through empty streets. Pain waited at the village center, standing atop the largest ruin. 6 bodies surrounded him, each with the same Rinnegan eyes, each a different path of his power. You came, Pain said. The Nine Tails container. The reality warper. The boy who could save the world but chooses not to. And you're Pain, Naruto replied. The man who thinks forcing peace through fear will work. We're quite the pair. You mock me, but you don't understand suffering, Pain said. You've never known true pain, true loss. How can someone with your power comprehend what it means to be helpless? I imagine, Naruto said softly, that I feel what you felt. Every loss, every trauma, every moment that made you into who you are. The reality warp hit him like a physical blow. Suddenly, Naruto experienced decades of Pain's memories. No, Nagato's memories. The loss of his parents. The accidental killing of Yahiko. The manipulation by Obito. The slow descent from idealism into desperation into tyranny. Naruto fell to his knees, gasping, tears streaming down his face. I understand. God, I understand now. He reversed the imagination, the memories fading, but the emotional impact remaining. You wanted me to feel pain, Naruto said, standing on shaking legs. You wanted me to understand suffering. I do now. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you've carried that alone. Pain's expression didn't change. Pretty words, but they changed nothing. The world is broken. The cycle of hatred is eternal. Only through overwhelming force can we create peace. When everyone knows the same pain, they'll finally understand each other. No, Naruto said. They'll just all be traumatized together. Shared suffering isn't the same as shared understanding. Then show me a better way, Pain challenged. With your power, you could create the world I'm trying to force into existence, so why don't you? Because it wouldn't be real, Naruto said. I could imagine world peace right now. Make every human on Earth forget how to hate, how to fight, how to hurt each other. It would work. Everyone would be happy, peaceful, safe. He looked at Pain with those 2 blue eyes. But they wouldn't have chosen it. They'd be puppets dancing to my imagination, not people living their own lives. Then you're a fool, Pain said. The Deva Path. One of the 6 bodies raised its hand. Shinra Tensei. A massive repulsive force exploded outward, strong enough to flatten mountains. It hit Naruto directly, should have obliterated him. He stood unmoved, hair not even ruffling. I imagine forces can't affect me without my permission, Naruto explained. Pain switched tactics. The Asura Path's body opened, revealing dozens of missiles. They launched simultaneously, each armed with explosive tags powerful enough to level city blocks. Naruto gestured lazily. I imagine those are flowers. The missiles transformed mid-flight, becoming cherry blossoms that drifted harmlessly to the ground. The Prita Path rushed forward, hands extended to absorb Naruto's chakra and techniques. I don't use chakra, Naruto said. Not really. Go ahead. Try to absorb imagination itself. The Prita Path made contact, tried to drain energy, and stumbled backward, clutching its head. It had tried to absorb the fundamental force of reality manipulation and nearly broken its own mind. The animal path summoned a massive 3-headed dog, a rhino the size of a house, a bird with a wingspan that blocked the sun. Naruto pointed at each. Dog becomes a puppy, rhino becomes a mouse, bird becomes a hummingbird. The summons shrank accordingly, now adorable instead of threatening. The human path grabbed for Naruto's soul, trying to extract it with the Rinnegan's ability. Naruto let it make contact, curious. The human path grabbed, pulled, and recoiled in horror. What did you see? Pain demanded. The human path couldn't speak, just pointed a shaking finger at Naruto. Whatever it had encountered trying to read his soul had broken something inside it. My soul is weird, Naruto explained. It exists in the space between imagination and reality. Trying to extract it is like trying to grab a dream with your hands. Only the Naraka path and Deva path remained active, the others disabled or traumatized. Pain, the Deva path that contained Nagato's main consciousness, looked at Naruto with new eyes. You're not human anymore, are you? You've become something else entirely. I choose to be human, Naruto corrected. There's a difference. Then fight me like a human, Pain roared. Stop negating my techniques. Stop turning everything into a joke. Fight me seriously. Naruto paused, then nodded. You're right. You deserve that much respect. He released his self-imposed limitations. The air pressure changed as reality itself bent around him more intensely. I imagine, Naruto said, and his voice echoed with power that made the ruins shake, that we're fighting in a space where your Rinnegan abilities work at full strength, where you have unlimited chakra, where every technique you know is available, where you're fighting at your absolute peak. The world shifted. They were no longer in Uzushiyogakure's ruins, but in an abstract battlefield that existed between dimensions. Here, Pain's six paths were formed, perfect and undamaged. Power flooded through Nagato's puppets, far beyond what he'd ever achieved in real life. Now, Naruto said, smiling that distant smile, show me everything you've got. Let's see if your pain-driven power can overcome my imagination. Pain attacked with everything. Shinra Tensei alternating with Bansho Tenin, pulling and pushing with gravitational force that could reshape landscapes. The animal path summoned 1,000 creatures simultaneously. The Asura path fired every weapon in its arsenal. The Prita path tried to create chakra-absorbing barriers. The human path extracted souls from the summons to fuel techniques. The Naraka path restored damaged paths instantly. And Naruto fought back. Not by imagining pain defeated. Not by negating techniques, but by matching them. When Pain used Shinra Tensei, Naruto created an equal and opposite force. When summons appeared, Naruto imagined his own army, not of animals, but of living marble statues that fought with precision. When missiles fired, Naruto countered with imagined barriers of pure force. They battled across the abstract space for what felt like hours. Pain pulled out his ultimate technique. A black sphere rose into the sky. Gravitational force pulled everything toward it. Earth, rock, even the air itself. A planetoid began forming, growing larger by the second, threatening to seal Naruto inside a moon-sized prison. Naruto floated up toward it willingly. This is beautiful, Pain. This technique is art. He touched the black sphere at the center. But I imagine it's made of soap bubbles. The massive planetoid burst, becoming millions of floating bubbles that caught the light and created rainbows across the battlefield. Pain landed hard, breathing heavy, even though these were just puppet bodies. Through them, Nagato was experiencing true exhaustion for the first time in years. I can't defeat you, Pain said simply. No matter what I do, you just imagine a counter. This is pointless. No, Naruto said, landing in front of him. This was necessary. You needed to see that force doesn't work on me. That threatening Konoha, capturing Jinchuriki, creating weapons, none of that will achieve what you want. Then what will? Pain demanded. How do you break the cycle of hatred? How do you create peace? I don't know, Naruto admitted, but I know it's not through imagination or force. It's through choice. People have to choose to stop hating, choose to forgive, choose to build instead of destroy. And if they won't choose that, then they suffer the consequences, Naruto said. But at least they're their own consequences, not ones I imposed on them. Pain was silent for a long moment. Then, Nagato wants to speak with you. The real me. Not through these puppets. The abstract battlefield dissolved. They were back in Uzushiyogakure's ruins. Pain's six paths crumbled to dust, and a thin beam of chakra pointed toward a hidden location kilometers away. Naruto followed it. He found Nagato in a cave, his emaciated body connected to a machine that kept him alive. Conan stood guard, paper wings ready to attack. You could kill us both with a thought, Nagato said, his voice weak. Why don't you? Because I want to understand you first, Naruto said, sitting cross-legged in front of the broken man. Tell me about pain. Real pain. Not the philosophy, but what you actually felt. And Nagato did. He spoke of Yahiko's death, of the moment his best friend died in his arms. He spoke of the manipulation, the lies, the slow realization that everything he'd fought for had been twisted into something monstrous. Monstrous. Naruto listened without interrupting. When Nagato finished, Naruto spoke. I could imagine a world where Yahiko never died, where you were never manipulated, where the cycle of hatred was broken before you became part of it. I could give you that world right now. Nagato's eyes widened. You could? But it wouldn't be real, Naruto continued. It would be my dream, not your life. Yahiko would be a puppet wearing his face. Your friendship would be something I imagined, not something you earned. And you'd never know the difference, but I would. And that matters. Why? Nagato asked, genuinely confused. Why does it matter if I can't tell the difference? Because I can, Naruto said. And I'm trying very hard not to become someone who plays God with people's lives, who decides what's real and what isn't, who imagines relationships instead of earning them. If I cross that line with you, I'll cross it with everyone eventually, and then I really will be alone, the only real person in a world of imagined dolls. Konan stepped forward. Then what do you want from us? Choose, Naruto said. Choose to stop. Not because I forced you, not because you're defeated, but because you decide it's the right thing to do. Use the Rinne Rebirth Jutsu. Bring back everyone who died during your attacks on the villages. Make that choice yourself. That technique will kill me, Nagato said. I know, Naruto replied, which is why it has to be your choice. I won't imagine you into doing it. I won't force you. I'm asking you to choose redemption, knowing it costs everything. Nagato stared at this strange blonde boy who had all the power in the world but refused to use it to make people do what he wanted. Why? Nagato asked again. Why not just make me do it? Because I want to believe people can change, Naruto said. That they can choose to be better, that free will matters more than perfect outcomes. And if I make you do this, I prove myself wrong. I prove that the only way to achieve good is through force. And I don't want to live in that world. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Nagato smiled. A real smile, not twisted by pain or philosophy. You're a strange person, Naruto Uzumaki, but maybe that's what the world needs. Someone powerful enough to force change, but wise enough not to. He formed the hand seals. Rinne Rebirth. Nagato's life force poured out, flowing across the continent to every person killed in Akatsuki attacks over the past year. In Suna, Gaara gasped back to life without Chiyo's sacrifice. In Kumo, the Eight Tails Jinchuriki woke confused but alive. In Konoha, several Chunin and Jonin who'd fallen in previous battles opened their eyes to a second chance. And in the cave, Nagato's body crumbled to dust, his final act one of redemption freely chosen. Konan knelt beside his remains, tears falling. Why? She asked Naruto. Why did he believe you? Because I gave him a choice, Naruto said softly. And sometimes that's all anyone really wants. He stood to leave, then paused. Konan, I imagine Nagato's death was peaceful, that in his final moments he felt no pain, only peace, that he knew he'd done the right thing. Konan looked up, tears still flowing, but now mixed with gratitude. Thank you. Naruto left the cave. Outside, Team Kakashi was battling the remaining Akatsuki members who'd come as backup. Sasuke was fighting Kasame, who'd retrieved a new sword to replace Samehada. Sakura was holding her own against Kakuzu, using medical ninjutsu to counter his multiple hearts. Kakashi was engaging Konan's partner. Naruto raised his hand. Stop! Everyone froze. Not because he'd imagined them immobile, but because the weight of his presence demanded attention. Nagato is dead, Naruto announced. He used Rinne Rebirth to restore those you killed. The Akatsuki's goal is finished. You can keep fighting, keep trying to capture Biju, keep pursuing this path, or you can choose to stop. Kasame lowered his sword slowly. The boss is dead? He chose redemption, Naruto said. Now you choose. Keep fighting, and I'll imagine you defeated. Or walk away and live your own lives. One by one, the Akatsuki members retreated. Some out of fear, some out of respect for Nagato's final choice, some simply because they recognized futility when they saw it. Only Konan remained, standing at the cave entrance. What will you do? Naruto asked her. Protect his dream, she said. The real dream, not the twisted version. I'll rebuild Omegakure. Create the peace he wanted through choice, not force. It will take generations. It might fail, but it will be real. Good, Naruto said, smiling. That's all anyone can ask for. They returned to Konoha as heroes. Tsunade welcomed them back, the anger from before replaced with grudging respect. Naruto had let events play out, and it had worked, not perfectly, but genuinely. That night, Jiraiya found Naruto on the monument again. Heard you convinced the Akatsuki leader to sacrifice himself voluntarily, the Sannin said. That's impressive. I just gave him a choice, Naruto replied. That's more than most people with power would do, Jiraiya said. He sat beside Naruto, looking out over the village. You know what I realized? You're stronger than I ever could be, not because of your reality warping, but because of your restraint. Most people's morality is limited by their power. They want to do good things but lack the ability. You have unlimited ability but choose to limit yourself morally. That's harder. It's lonely, Naruto admitted. I know, Jiraiya said, but you're not alone. You've got Team 7. You've got me. You've got this whole village of people who are starting to understand what you're trying to do. Are they? Naruto asked. Or are they just relieved I'm not using my power against them? Maybe both, Jiraiya said. But that's still something. They sat in silence as stars emerged above Konoha. Sensei? Naruto asked. If you could have any power, what would you want? Jiraiya thought for a moment. Honestly? None. Because the minute I got it, I'd probably abuse it. I'd peek in women's baths without consequences, write novels that automatically became bestsellers, make beautiful women fall for me. I'd use power for selfish things. He looked at Naruto seriously. The fact that you haven't, that you could have anything but choose to struggle like everyone else, that's what makes you special, not the power, the choice not to use it. Naruto felt something warm in his chest, validation from someone who understood. Thanks, Jiraiya-sensei. Anytime, kid. But peace never lasts. Months later, a new threat emerged. Sasuke, who'd been away on a solo mission, returned to Konoha with shocking news. Danzo Shimura has been secretly working with remnants of Root to undermine Lady Tsunade. He plans a coup, and he's stolen Sharingan from deceased Uchiha to power his jutsu. The revelation split the village. Some believed Sasuke, others thought he was paranoid. Danzo denied everything with perfect political maneuvering. Naruto could have imagined the truth revealed, could have exposed Danzo's secrets with a thought. But he didn't. Why? Tsunade demanded in an emergency council. You know if he's lying or not. You could verify Sasuke's claims instantly. I could, Naruto agreed. But then you're trusting my imagination instead of investigating properly. What happens next time there's an accusation? Do you investigate or just ask me to imagine the truth? Where does that end? People could die if Danzo really is plotting. People could die if we wrongly execute someone based on my imagination, too. Naruto countered. False certainty is worse than doubt. At least doubt makes you investigate carefully. So they investigated. Teams were dispatched, evidence was gathered, and slowly, painstakingly, they uncovered the truth. Danzo was exactly what Sasuke claimed. When cornered, Danzo used Izanagi, a Sharingan technique that rewrites reality by making illusions real and reality illusions. He burned through stolen eyes rapidly, changing the outcome of attacks, rewriting his death repeatedly. Sasuke fought him with everything, Amaterasu, Susanoo, Chidori, and dozens of variations. But Danzo kept reviving, kept rewriting reality to his advantage. You see, Danzo taunted, this is power, the ability to decide what's real, to remake the world in the image of strength. Naruto watched from the sidelines until Sasuke finally shouted, "Help me, I can't beat him alone." Only then did Naruto step forward. You're using Izanagi wrong, Naruto told Danzo. You're just rewriting individual moments. Watch a real reality warper work. I imagine, Naruto said, that all those Sharingan you stole were never Sharingan to begin with. They were always just glass eyes. Danzo's arm, covered in stolen Sharingan, suddenly contained only glass prosthetics. The eyes that had granted him Izanagi were revealed to have always been fakes in this new reality. His technique failed mid-cast. What, how? You were rewriting moments, Naruto explained. I rewrote history. In the reality I've created, you never had real Sharingan, just convincing fakes you fooled yourself with, so Izanagi never worked because it was never possible. Danzo fell to his knees, his entire foundation crumbling. Without the stolen eyes, he was just an old man with conventional jutsu. Sasuke's blade found his heart. As Danzo died, he looked at Naruto with something like understanding. You could rule everything, he whispered. Why don't you? Because ruling means controlling, Naruto said. And I don't want to control people. I want to understand them. Fool, Danzo gasped, then died. Sasuke stood over the body, blade dripping blood, finally having achieved vengeance for his clan. But he looked empty. I thought I'd feel different, Sasuke said quietly. Satisfied, complete, but I just feel nothing. Revenge doesn't fill holes, Naruto said. It just creates new ones. What do I do now? Sasuke asked. My goal is complete. Itachi is avenged. The man who ordered the massacre is dead. What's left? Living, Naruto said. Finding a purpose beyond vengeance. Building instead of destroying. Sasuke looked at him. How do you do it? How do you stay motivated when you could have anything with a thought? What drives you? The search for genuine connection, Naruto admitted. I want to find people who see me as Naruto first, reality warper second, who choose to be with me, not because I've imagined it or forced it, but because they want to be. That's my goal, and unlike you, I haven't achieved it yet. You have Team 7, Sasuke pointed out. Do I? Naruto asked. Or are they friends with me because they're afraid what happens if they're not? Because it's politically wise? Because they feel obligated? I can never be sure, and that uncertainty is what keeps me human. Sasuke absorbed this. Then, for what it's worth, I chose to be your teammate. Not because of your power, but because you're the only person who's never treated me like a victim or a weapon. You've treated me like a person with choices. That matters. Naruto felt that warmth again. Thanks, Sasuke. They returned to Konoha with Danzo's body. Tsunade executed his co-conspirators, dismantled Root, and began restructuring the village's power dynamics. And then the real crisis began. A man calling himself Madara Uchiha, actually Obito, wearing his ancestor's name, declared the Fourth Shinobi World War. His goal: capture the remaining tailed beasts, revive the Ten Tails, cast the infinite Tsukuyomi on the entire world. Everyone would live in perfect dreams, experiencing their ideal lives, never suffering again. The allied shinobi forces formed across 5 nations. Hundreds of thousands of ninja prepared for war against Akatsuki remnants and Kabuto's Edo Tensei army. And Naruto faced a philosophical crisis. He wants to do what I've refused to do, Naruto told Jiraiya the night before war began. Create perfect happiness through force. Make everyone live in a dream where they get what they want. But it's a lie, Jiraiya said. Is it? Naruto asked. If people can't tell the difference between a perfect dream and perfect reality, does it matter which they're living in? I've struggled with this question my whole life. I could imagine everyone happy, could create world peace right now. But I don't, because I value the authenticity of choice over the comfort of imposed happiness. But is that right? Or am I just being cruel, withholding paradise because of philosophical principle? You're overthinking this, Jiraiya said. The infinite Tsukuyomi traps people, takes away their agency. That's wrong. But isn't that what I do? Naruto asked. Every time I use my power, I'm removing someone's agency. I'm deciding what reality should be and making it so. How am I different from Obito except in scale? Because you limit yourself, Jiraiya said firmly. Because you question, because you recognize the danger in playing God. Obito doesn't. He thinks he knows better than everyone else. You acknowledge you might not. But what if he's right? Naruto pressed. What if the world really would be better with everyone living in their perfect dreams? Who am I to deny them that? You're someone who understands that real happiness requires real struggle, Jiraiya said. That accomplishment means nothing without the possibility of failure. That relationships only matter if both people choose to maintain them. You know these things because you've lived them. Trust that understanding. Naruto absorbed this, but doubt remained. The war began at dawn. Naruto stood on the front lines with tens of thousands of allied shinobi forces. Kabuto's Edo Tensei army emerged from the forest. Legendary ninja resurrected, forced to fight against their will. Naruto could have imagined them all at peace, could have ended the war before it started. He didn't. Instead, he created protective barriers around allied forces, turned enemy weapons into harmless objects, and generally played defense. He refused to go on offense, refused to use his full power. Why aren't you fighting? A random Chunin yelled at him as explosions rocked the battlefield. You could end this. I'm protecting you, Naruto replied calmly. That's different from controlling the outcome. The real Madara Uchiha was resurrected, not Obito, but the genuine article brought back through Kabuto's perfected Edo Tensei. The legendary Uchiha looked at the battlefield and laughed with pure joy. Finally! A real war. Real opponents. This is what I've been waiting for. He descended on the allied forces like a natural disaster. Perfect Susanoo obliterated battalions. Fire jutsu boiled the air. Even the 5 Kage together barely slowed him down. Naruto watched, analyzing, understanding the depths of Madara's power. Then, Madara noticed him. You? the Uchiha said, eternal Mangekyo Sharingan spinning. You're the one who stopped my descendant Obito's invasion of Konoha, the reality warper, the boy who made a meteor appear. Madara Uchiha, Naruto acknowledged, the legendary ghost of the Uchiha. Fight me, Madara demanded. Show me what you can do. I'd rather not, Naruto said honestly. Then I'll slaughter everyone here until you do. Madara raised both hands. Tengai Shinsei! 2 meteors appeared in the sky, massive, burning, descending toward the allied forces with terminal velocity. Thousands would die on impact, Naruto sighed. I really didn't want to do this, but fine. He pointed up. I imagine those meteors are made of cotton candy. The meteors transformed mid-descent. Instead of crushing stone, giant masses of pink and blue cotton candy fell harmlessly across the battlefield. Ninja looked up in confusion as sweet, fluffy material scattered everywhere. Madara's eyes widened. Then he laughed, a sound of pure delight. Brilliant! You didn't destroy them or stop them. You changed what they fundamentally are. That's beautiful. He charged forward, Susanoo forming around him like armor. More. Show me more. Naruto met him in the air. They crashed together, and the shockwave flattened everything within 100 yards. I imagine, Naruto said as they grappled, that we're fighting in a space where your power is at absolute peak, where you're not an Edo Tensei puppet, but fully alive, where you have unlimited chakra and all your techniques available. Reality shifted. They stood in an abstract battlefield that existed outside normal space. Here, Madara's Edo Tensei limitations vanished. He was truly alive, truly whole, truly powerful. This is what I wanted, Madara roared. To fight at full strength against someone who can match me. They battled across impossible space. Madara used every technique in his arsenal. Wood release from Hashirama's cells, perfect Susanoo, limbo clones that existed between dimensions, truth-seeking balls that negated normal jutsu. Naruto matched each technique with imagination. Wood release was met with stone trees that grappled and fought. Susanoo was countered with armor made of crystallized light. Limbo clones found themselves visible and vulnerable. Truth-seeking balls became ordinary rubber balls. But Naruto realized something. Madara was having fun. This wasn't about winning, it was about the fight itself. The legendary Uchiha just wanted a worthy opponent. You're not trying to conquer the world, Naruto said during a brief pause. You're just bored. You've been waiting decades for someone who could challenge you, and I'm the first person who can. Guilty, Madara admitted with a grin. I've achieved everything else. I've mastered every jutsu. I've defeated every opponent. I've reshaped nations. The only thing left is to find someone who can make me struggle. Then let's really fight, Naruto said. He removed all his self-imposed limitations. His eyes blazed blue with unrestricted reality-warping power. I'll show you what it means to fight someone who can rewrite the rules of combat itself. They clashed again, but this time Naruto went on offense. He imagined Madara's Sharingan could only see in black and white. Suddenly, color-based tactics became useless. Imagine that chakra was 10 times heavier. Madara had to adjust to the new weight of his own power. Imagine that up was down. Spatial orientation became a challenge. Madara adapted to each change with terrifying speed, his combat genius shining through. When Naruto changed the rules, Madara learned the new rules and exploited them. This is amazing, Madara shouted. You're not just powerful, you're creative. You make me think in ways I never have before. I imagine, Naruto said, that you remember what it was like to have a true friend. Not a tool, not a subordinate, but an equal who challenged you to be better. The memory warp hit Madara hard. Suddenly, he remembered Hashirama not as an enemy, but as the friend he'd once been. Before betrayal, before the cycle of hatred, before everything went wrong, Madara stumbled, tears forming. Hashirama, I forgot. I forgot what that felt like. You didn't forget, Naruto said gently. You buried it because remembering hurt too much, but it's still there. The you who wanted peace through cooperation, not domination. Madara fell to his knees, the weight of decades of repressed emotions crashing down. What have I become? Someone who lost their way, Naruto said. But that doesn't mean you can't find it again. I'm already dead, Madara pointed out, resurrected by Edo Tensei. This is just a puppet using my memories and techniques. But you still have a choice, Naruto insisted. You can keep fighting, pursuing the infinite Tsukuyomi, trying to trap everyone in dreams, or you can let go. Release your anger, your pain. your need for control. Choose peace. Madara looked at this blonde boy who defeated him not with superior force, but with forced introspection. You're dangerous, Madara said. More dangerous than me, because you can make people see themselves clearly, and that's the most terrifying thing of all. Will you stop? Naruto asked. Madara stood slowly. No, but not because I want the infinite Tsukuyomi anymore. Because I want to see if humanity can defeat the Ten Tails without relying on you to imagine it away. I want to see if people are as strong as you believe they are. He smiled. Consider this my test of your philosophy. Can humanity save itself, or will they need you to do it for them? Madara released himself from Edo Tensei's control, choosing to fade away. But before he did, he activated the true resurrection jutsu, bringing himself back fully alive. Now, the war gets interesting, Madara said, and vanished to pursue his own goals. Naruto returned to the main battlefield to find Obito had appeared, the true mastermind, the one wearing Madara's name. He'd captured the remaining tailed beasts and was preparing to become the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto Uzumaki, Obito called out. The reality warper, the one person who could stop me with a thought. Will you? I don't know yet, Naruto admitted. Dad, you want to trap everyone in the infinite Tsukuyomi. Give them perfect dreams where they're happy, safe, loved, no pain, no loss, no suffering. Why is that wrong? The question shocked everyone in earshot. Naruto, Sakura screamed. Of course it's wrong. It's not real. But how would they know? Naruto asked, genuinely questioning. If the dream is perfect, indistinguishable from reality, does it matter if it's real or not? I could create that same world right now through imagination. Would that be wrong too? Obito smiled behind his mask. You understand. Finally, someone who understands. Real happiness is too hard, too much suffering, too much chance for loss, but in dreams, everyone gets what they want. No one has to suffer anymore. Show me, Naruto said. Obito's visible eye widened. What? Show me the infinite Tsukuyomi, Naruto said. Cast it on me. Let me experience what you're offering the world. I want to understand if you're right. Naruto? No. Kakashi shouted, but it was too late. Obito's Sharingan spun. The incomplete Ten Tails power flooded through him, and Naruto allowed the technique to take him, let the Genjutsu wrap around his mind. He found himself in a perfect world. Team 7 was together, laughing, training. Jiraiya was alive, proud of his student. His parents, Minato and Kushina, were alive, embracing him, telling him they loved him. Everyone in Konoha celebrated him not as a reality warper, but as a hero, a friend, a person. It was everything he'd ever wanted, and it felt hollow. Naruto sat in this perfect dream world and felt nothing, because he knew, absolutely knew, that none of it was real. These people weren't choosing to love him. They were programmed to by the Genjutsu. Their affection was a script, not genuine emotion. In his mindscape, he confronted Obito. This is what you're offering, Naruto asked. Programmed happiness? Forced connection? It's indistinguishable from real happiness, Obito argued. The people in the dream can't tell the difference. They experience love, joy, fulfillment, all without the risk of pain. But I can tell the difference, Naruto said. I know this is fake. I know my parents here are just puppets dancing to the Genjutsu's programming, and that knowledge makes it worthless. Only because you're aware it's a Genjutsu, Obito said. For everyone else, it would be real. They'd never know. They'd just be happy. But I would know, Naruto said, and that matters. Because if I allowed this, I'd be doing exactly what I've spent my whole life refusing to do. Playing God with people's lives, deciding what's best for them, removing their agency. Then you'll stop me, Obito said. Use your reality warping. Imagine me defeated. No, Naruto said. I'm going to give you a choice instead. He released himself from the infinite Tsukuyomi, not by imagining himself free, but by genuinely breaking through the Genjutsu using his willpower and understanding of what's real versus what's imagined. Back in the real world, Obito stared in shock. No one's ever broken free of the infinite Tsukuyomi before. Because no one else lives in the space between dreams and reality like I do, Naruto said. Your Genjutsu creates a dream world. I exist partially in dream already. I can tell the difference. He walked toward Obito slowly. I'm going to show you something. I imagine you see the woman you loved, Rin, one last time. Really her. Not an illusion. Not a Genjutsu. A real manifestation of her consciousness pulled from the Pure Land, given form for just 1 minute. Reality warped. Rin appeared, truly her, not a fake, not a trick. Obito could tell the difference immediately. "Is Obito," Rin said, her voice gentle. "What are you doing?" "I'm creating a world where you never died," Obito said desperately, "where we can be together, where you're safe." "But that world isn't real," Rin said, "and it's not what I wanted. I didn't die so you could trap everyone in a lie. I died protecting the village, protecting the future. This," she gestured at the Ten Tails, "at the war, this isn't honoring me. It's using my death as an excuse." "But I love you," Obito said, tears flowing. "I know," Rin said, "and I'm grateful for that. But real love means letting go, accepting loss, moving forward while keeping the memory alive, not trapping yourself and everyone else in a dream of what could have been." She faded, her minute of manifestation ending. Obito fell to his knees, the truth crashing down. "I've been lying to myself, using the infinite Tsukuyomi as an excuse to escape my pain instead of accepting it." "We all lie to ourselves," Naruto said, as long as I do it constantly, telling myself I'm holding back for noble reasons when maybe I'm just afraid of fully accepting what I am. But the difference is recognizing the lie and choosing differently. "What should I do?" Obito asked. "Choose," Naruto said. "Keep trying to force the infinite Tsukuyomi and I'll imagine you defeated, or release the tailed beasts, help end this war, and try to find real redemption instead of dreamed forgiveness." Obito stood slowly. "If I release the tailed beasts, I'll die. The extraction will kill me." "I know," Naruto said, "which is why it has to be your choice. I won't force you. I won't imagine it happening. You have to choose redemption knowing it costs everything." The battlefield went silent, everyone watching this moment of decision. Finally, Obito smiled. A real smile, not twisted by pain or manipulation. "You know what? I'm tired of living in lies, tired of running from pain, tired of trying to control everything." He formed the hand seals. "Release!" The tailed beasts erupted from him, freed from the incomplete 10 tails. Obito's body crumbled, the extraction killing him as predicted. Before he died, he looked at Naruto. "Thank you for giving me a choice, for showing me Rin one last time, for proving that facing reality, no matter how painful, is better than hiding in dreams." "You're welcome," Naruto said. "Rest well, Obito Uchiha." Obito died, his body fading to dust. But the Ten Tails wasn't finished. The beast, now freed from Obito's control, rampaged across the battlefield in mindless fury, and then she appeared. Kaguya Otsutsuki, the origin of chakra, the mother of the Sage of Six Paths, absorbed the Ten Tails and manifested physically. Her power dwarfed everything that had come before. She looked at Naruto with eyes that held the Rinne Sharingan, a combination of Rinnegan and Sharingan that could access dimensions, manipulate space-time, and rewrite reality on a fundamental level. "You," Kaguya said, her voice ancient and alien. "You're like me, a reality warper, but you use imagination instead of chakra." "I guess we have something in common then." Naruto said. Kaguya attacked without warning, opening portals to different dimensions and trying to trap him in each, a dimension of burning lava, a dimension of crushing gravity, a dimension of pure ice, a dimension of acid rain. Naruto countered each one. Imagined himself immune to heat in the lava dimension. Imagined gravity pulled him up instead of down in the gravity dimension. Imagined ice was warm in the ice dimension. Imagined acid rain was just water. They battled across dimensions, reality warping versus chakra manipulation. Kaguya's power was immense. She'd created the chakra system, could manipulate it in ways no one else could, had techniques that transcended normal understanding. But Naruto had something she didn't. Creativity born from humanity. "I imagine," Naruto said as they clashed in a dimension of endless desert, "that you remember what it was like to be mortal, to love, to fear, to hope, to dream, to feel connection with others." The memory flood hit Kaguya like a physical blow. She'd suppressed her humanity for millennia, becoming godlike and cold. But Naruto forced her to remember what she'd been before, a woman who loved, who feared, who wanted to protect her children. "No," Kaguya screamed. "I transcended such weaknesses." "They're not weaknesses," Naruto said. "They're what make life meaningful. Power without connection is just isolation with fancy abilities." He pushed harder, forcing more memories. Her children's laughter before they betrayed her. The fear when humans weaponized the chakra she'd given them. The loneliness of godhood. Kaguya fell from the sky, tears streaming down her face, the first tears she'd shed in 1,000 years. "I forgot," she whispered. "I forgot what it felt like to be human." Back in the main dimension, Team 7 had been waiting for Naruto's return. They saw Kaguya appear, weakened and vulnerable. Sakura formed a chakra scalpel. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. Kakashi prepared his lightning blade. Even Naruto's friends, who'd seen his power countless times, stepped forward to fight. "Let us help," Sasuke said. "This is our fight too." Naruto could have finished Kaguya alone, could have imagined her sealed, defeated, erased. Instead, he looked at his team and nodded. Together then. They combined their powers. Sasuke's Rinnegan created portals. Sakura's chakra-enhanced strength shattered Kaguya's defenses. Kakashi's Kamui warped space. And Naruto. Naruto imagined their combined attack was 10 times more powerful than it should be, but only their attack, not his individual contribution. The sealing jutsu formed, not a prison of force, but a seal of compassion. They trapped Kaguya not in eternal suffering, but in a space where she could remember her humanity, process her pain, and potentially find peace. As the seal closed, Kaguya looked at Naruto one last time. "You could have done this alone. Why include them?" "Because I don't want to be alone," Naruto said. "I want to be part of something bigger than myself, and that means letting others matter, even when I could do it all solo." Kaguya smiled, a small sad smile, and faded into the seal. The war was over. Exhausted ninja collapsed across the battlefield. Medical teams rushed to help the wounded. The allied shinobi forces had won, not through one person's overwhelming power, but through cooperation, sacrifice, and collective effort. Naruto sat on a broken boulder, looking at the devastation. He could imagine it all repaired, could restore the dead, heal the wounded, rebuild the destroyed villages. Could make it as if the war had never happened. He didn't. "You're not fixing it," Tsunade said, approaching him. She looked ancient, exhausted from days of fighting. "No," Naruto said. "This is real. The damage, the cost, the sacrifice, it all matters because it's real. If I imagine it away, I cheapen what everyone fought for." "People died, Naruto. You could bring them back." "I could," Naruto agreed. "But would they be the same people? Or would they be copies my imagination created, walking around wearing their faces? I don't know, and I'm too afraid of the answer to try." Tsunade sat beside him. "You're carrying an impossible burden." "I know," Naruto said. "The burden of infinite power is knowing when not to use it, and I fail at that every day." "But you keep trying," Tsunade said. "That's what matters." The Allied forces dispersed over the following weeks. Villages mourned their dead, celebrated their survivors, and began the slow work of rebuilding. Naruto helped with that, using his power to restore destroyed buildings, purify poisoned water, heal scarred land. Small uses of power that didn't override human agency but supported their recovery. 1 month after the war ended, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument again. But this time, he wasn't alone. Sasuke sat beside him, silent but present. Then Sakura arrived, settling on Naruto's other side. Kakashi appeared behind them. Then Shikamaru wandered up, complaining about the stairs but sitting down anyway. Neji joined them, followed by Lee, Tenten, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, Ino, Choji. One by one, people came. Not because Naruto had imagined them there, not because they felt obligated, but because they chose to. "Why are we all here?" Kiba finally asked. "Because Naruto's been sitting up here alone for years," Hinata said softly. "I thought maybe he'd like company." "I didn't ask anyone to come," Naruto said, genuinely surprised. "We know," Sakura replied. "That's why we came." Naruto felt tears forming. "I could have imagined this. Could have imagined all of you choosing to be here, choosing to be my friends, but I didn't, because I needed to know if anyone would choose it themselves." "We choose it," Sasuke said firmly. "You're annoying, overpowered, and sometimes way too philosophical, but you're also the person who's given me more real choices than anyone else in my life. That's worth being friends over." "You saved the world," Sakura added. "But more than that, you could have enslaved it, controlled it, remade it in your image. And you didn't. You let us struggle, fail, and succeed on our own terms. That restraint is more impressive than any technique." "Plus," Shikamaru said with a lazy smile, "you're the only person who makes my strategic thinking feel actually necessary. With your power, you could solve problems by imagining them solved. But you make us work through things logically instead. It's troublesome, but I appreciate it." One by one, each person shared why they'd chosen to be there. Not because Naruto was powerful, but because of who he was despite that power. Hinata spoke last. I've watched you for years, Naruto. I've seen you cry because you earned something through effort. I've seen you hold back when using your full power would be easier. I've seen you choose loneliness over forced connection. That's not the visionary. That's Naruto Uzumaki, and that's who I choose to be here for. Naruto looked at her, really looked, seeing past his own insecurities and fears to the genuine affection in her eyes. I could imagine you love me, Naruto said quietly, but I won't, because if you choose it yourself, it means everything. I choose it, Hinata said firmly. I've always chosen it. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt genuinely connected, not through power, not through fear, not through imagination, through choice. They sat together as the sun set over Konoha, a group of people who'd survived impossible odds and chosen to share the aftermath together. Hey Naruto, Lee said suddenly. Can you imagine us some food? I'm starving. Everyone laughed. No, Naruto said, grinning. We'll go get ramen like normal people. Walking down there, waiting in line, paying for it ourselves, because that's more real than imagining it into existence. That's so troublesome, Shikamaru complained, but he stood up anyway. They walked down the monument together, Team 7 leading the way with the others following. Normal ninja heading to a normal ramen stand for a normal meal after an extraordinary war. At Ichiraku's, they crowded around the counter. Tochi served them personally, honored to feed the heroes who'd saved the world. Naruto sat between Sasuke and Hinata, surrounded by friends who'd chosen to be there. He took a bite of ramen, real ramen that he'd paid for with money he'd earned, made by hands that had learned the craft through decades of practice. Served in a shop that had existed since before he was born, it tasted better than anything he could have imagined. You know what? Naruto said to no one in particular. I've spent my whole life able to imagine anything. I could imagine perfect food, perfect friends, perfect happiness. I could create a perfect world where nothing ever went wrong. He looked around at his friends, their faces illuminated by lantern light. But this moment, these people, this real, messy, imperfect reality where things matter because they're earned, I couldn't have imagined anything better. Sasuke smirked. That's the most normal thing you've ever said. I'll take that as a compliment, Naruto replied. Hinata's hand found his under the counter, squeezing gently. Not because he'd imagined it, not because he'd forced it, because she chose to. And Naruto, the most powerful person in the world, the reality warper who could reshape existence with a thought, squeezed back. He closed his eyes and for the first time since he was 5 years old didn't imagine anything at all. He simply existed, in reality, with people who'd chosen to be there. And that, finally, was enough. Years passed. Naruto continued as a ninja of Konoha, taking missions, training with Team 7, and gradually learning to use his power more comfortably without losing his humanity. He and Hinata grew closer, their relationship built on genuine choice and mutual respect. The world slowly learned that Naruto Uzumaki, the reality warper, wasn't a threat to be feared, but a guardian who chose restraint. Other villages stopped seeing him as a weapon and started seeing him as a person. He never stopped questioning himself. Never stopped wondering if he was using his power correctly. Never stopped fearing the day he might cross the line between helpful intervention and playing God. But he had anchors now. Sasuke would call him out when he went too far. Sakura would remind him of what mattered. Kakashi would offer wisdom. And Hinata would hold his hand and remind him that he was human first, reality warper second. On his 20th birthday, Konoha threw a celebration. The whole village came. Not because he'd imagined their attendance, but because they wanted to be there. Standing on the Hokage monument that night, looking at the celebration below, Naruto Uzumaki finally understood something fundamental. Power meant nothing without connection. Strength was meaningless without restraint, and the ability to reshape reality paled in comparison to the choice to simply be part of it. He'd spent 15 years afraid of his own power, lonely at the peak of possibility, desperately seeking genuine human connection in a world where he could fake it perfectly. But now, surrounded by people who'd chosen to love him, who'd chosen to fight beside him, who'd chosen to celebrate his existence, now he finally felt like he belonged. Not because he was powerful, but because he was real. And in a life lived between imagination and reality, being real was the greatest achievement of all. Naruto smiled, that distant smile, But this time it reached his eyes. The visionary had finally found something he couldn't imagine into existence. A life worth living. And that truly was enough. The end.
The ninja world would never be the same with the visionary unleashed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this mind-bending crossover, smash that subscribe button for more wild anime what-ifs. Drop a comment on who Naruto should fuse with next. See you in the next timeline.